Afraid, emotions getting in your way. Afraid, but why you let me fall in love if you're afraid, emotions getting in your way. Afraid, but why you let me fall in love if you're afraid to commit? And don't call me in the middle of the night and say that you're not able to be loved. That's not right. No, I don't wanna be that one. Still a million miles from you, so I'm gonna let you go. Oh boy, if you only knew. Not a day goes by without you on my mind. You couldn't go on together. You said nothing lasts forever, though you can't deny. Hold it all inside. No, you can trust me. Just close your eyes, knowing that I'm around. I'll be around. Yeah. You're not scared of love, just scared of love. Alright, alright, enough. Just tell me if you want my love or not, or not. 'Cause I don't wanna be that one. Still a million miles from you, yeah. So I'm gonna let you go. Oh boy, if you only knew. Not a day goes by without you on my mind. You couldn't go on together. You said nothing lasts forever, though you can't deny. Hold it all inside. No, you can trust me. Just close your eyes, knowing that I'm around. 'Cause I don't wanna be that one. No, still a million miles from you. So I'm gonna let you go. You go. Oh boy, if you only knew. Not a day goes by without you on my mind. You couldn't go on together. You said nothing lasts forever, though you can't deny. Hold it all inside. No, you can trust me. Just close your eyes, knowing that I'm around.
Tell him I need my money right now. Probably the juice, they stole out my crown. Yeah. Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup, yeah. But don't waste my energy, my energy. I don't got much, don't be wasting all my energy. I keep it tight, don't let nobody get close to me. My heart is right, don't question my integrity. No, I thought we would be just fine, and I thought your heart was like mine. But let me find out, you've been going around throwing shots, running plots. Come on, man, tryna block my blessings, but no need for comparisons. What's from me won't be from me. Yeah, I'ma go through before I make what you've been saying about me true, true. Tell him I need my money right now. Promise you stay stole out my crown. Yeah. Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup it. Don't waste my loyalty, my loyalty. I let you in back then because I couldn't see, but now it's clear you ain't ever been true to me. My intuition ain't ever lied, I had to leave. Handle your business, do what you think you need to do to get your revenge. But you won't break me, God as my witness. Past the point of no return, I'm on a mission. Tryna block my blessings, but no need for comparisons. What's from me won't be from me. Yeah, I'ma go through just to grow through. But pay me what you owe me for I make what you've been saying about me true, true. Tell him I need my money right now. Promise that you stay stole out my crown. Yeah. Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup it. Don't waste my.
She's putting all of her cards down on the table, knowing there's no way that you'll be able to win this one. But she's somebody else in the making. First, she just gotta stop all the faking, and she'll be there. But she's wondering if it's gonna feel like she's forever. Wondering if it's gonna feel like this whenever she leaves her safe space. She leaves her safe space. Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that will make her feel better? Make her feel better. Then that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Somebody say, don't be afraid of loving yourself, 'cause that is all you got in the end. You got in the end. But she's wondering if it's gonna feel like she's forever. Wondering if it's gonna feel like this whenever she leaves her safe space. She leaves her safe space. Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that will make her feel better? Make her feel better. Then that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Talking to myself 'cause I don't know what I want. Yeah, I'm here talking to myself like someone's gonna respond. I'm getting tired of myself 'cause I don't know what I want. But I'm not out here on my own. Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that'll make her feel better? Make her feel better. And that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Yeah, that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Talking to myself.
y'all. I want a house in the hills I pay big bills for. I ain't got in pocket. I wanna empty out my wallet. I wanna stop motion, stand still. Wallace and Gromit. I wanna talk more endlessly. I wanna neurotically vomit. I want more dollars from my mama. I want a palace and Prada. I want a Gucci bag where I can store my sorrows and hardships. I wanna gold plate my finance. I want endless tomorrows. I want a lot more than I got right now. That's the problem. You could give me every little thing I'd ever want, but I'd never have enough till the day I had it all. Yeah, you can give me every little thing I ever want, but I'd never have enough till the day I had it all.
Oh, I see what you want, baby, but it might be just a little more than I can give you.
Second thought, I want $1 for everyone. Not just for my mama. I wanna hit the ball out on random pedestrians. I want my questions to be answered till my brain bored and questionless. I want more self-assurance. I don't ever want to second guess. I want someone to shut the fuck up. Lest he trying to tell me yes again. I want so many best friends that I can't tell what friendship is. I want the diamonds, gold, and glitter. I want fast cars I'll never whip. I want it all till I'm empty in my castle of everything.
Oh, I see what you want, baby, but it might be just a little more than I can give you.
I want a cushy job that pay big bills and cheap thrills. Wanna mob out with my homies like Timmy, Tommy, and Dill. I'm not trying to be famous, okay, maybe a lil. Since I'm a rapper, I should buy me some grills and gold frills that I can sleep on while I contemplate pills and peep on, hold still. Might sedate you, just a fire at will. I got an appetite for hardship, big fish meets krill. Don't sleep, don't spill, I ain't got my fill. I want the beauty queen to make me show my pearly whites. The type of movie scene that make you count your blessings twice. It's not the only thing that's on my list, I checked it twice and sent it off to Santa's elves like I've been playing nice.
I see what you want. Oh, I see what you want. Oh, I see what you want. But it might be a
little more than I
give you.
You broke my heart.
You broke my heart
A million times.
a million times.
Can't count the times.
Can't count the
I
times.
made you cry. We're such a mess.
We're such a
And
mess.
we're burning out.
We're burning out.
I get so sad.
I get so sad, you guys. I get so sad at the thought of losing you guys. I get so sad at the thought of losing you. I couldn't bear the thought of losing all my wonderful friends on YouTube. Of losing you. Good morning, y'all. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Leticia. Hey, honey bunny. Good morning, Leticia. Javaro. What's up, bro? A to Z Health. Good morning. My man Javaro's in the house. He's like, is he gonna be on time after that workout? Damn near. Not. I am out of shape. Salute to everybody. Salute. The system isn't working. I have to contact customer service to see why it's not working. We're gonna get it together, you guys. Don't trust me. We'll get it together. Princessa. Good morning, Princessa. How are you? Good morning, Jill. Jill calls me handsome face with her pretty face. Look at Jill. Everybody look at Jill's profile. Jill, you got a lot of nerve calling me handsome with that sexy profile picture of you. Hi, Kimberly. Good morning, Kimberly. What up, Steven? What up, bro? Everybody, let's get ready. We're gonna knock out chapter 4. We got chapter 4. Good morning, Drea.
To work things out.
Let's get ready.
To work things out. To work things out. Yeah, yeah. To work things out. To work things out. Oh, yeah. To work things out. To work things out. To work things out. To work things out.
Let's work it out, y'all.
To work things out. To work things out.
Let's work it out, y'all.
Work things out. To work things out. To work things out. To work things out.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another chapter of Rich People Read, where we read a book a month to instruct you in the ways of the successful through the power of reading. I'm so happy to be here. I'm your host, Mr. Shannon Rawls. Yes, this is a book club. For those that's wondering, what is this? Yes, this is a book club. Over here at this channel on YouTube, in my little carved out space of YouTube, of the many things that I provide to the people that support me over here at YouTube, the subscribers, the members especially, to the members especially, one thing that we do over here is a book club. We read 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We don't miss. We read 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Do you know any millionaires that don't read? Does anybody know any millionaires that don't read? First of all, do you guys even know any millionaires? Do you guys know any millionaires? Listen, I get it. Oh, Shannon, that's superficial. Yep, that's what we are. I'm about money over here. I'm about wonderful living. I live comfortably, ladies and gentlemen. I live comfortably. And I can only make that happen by making money. Listen, I live comfortably. I want you to live comfortably too. You like how I say that? Comfortably. That's how that's how you say it. At certain levels, you start changing the way you enunciate words. Comfortably. Do you live? No, we're not comfortable. We're comfortably. Do we live comfortably? I want you to live comfortably as well. Do you know any millionaires? Do you personally know any millionaires? Somebody who can, within 7 days, scrape up $1 million cash. See, it's not about being cash rich. There's a lot of people that can't just write $1 million check, but they still have a net worth over $1 million. But what's important is that within 7 days, if an emergency was to happen, they would be able to scrape up $1 million in cash. Do you know anybody who owns $1 million or more worth of assets where they can, if something was to happen, some calamity, something, we watched the movie John Q the other day. He needed $75,000 to be able to put his son on the donors list for the heart transplant. He had to sell everything. His insurance gave him $20,000. He needed to sell his truck. He sold his TV, his color TV for $20. They did like a local GoFundMe. He had to scrape up $75,000. It was difficult and he couldn't do it. If you see the movie John Q, you realize he couldn't scrape up $75,000. And so he went and did what he did. No spoilers. I'm not spoiling the movie. Do you know somebody who can scrape up $1 million? If they needed to. If you know somebody that can scrape up $1 million cash in 1 week, 7 days in 1 week, then you know a millionaire. They have a net worth of over $1 million. Now, here's the next question. Do you know any millionaires that don't read? Do you know any millionaires that do not read? I doubt it. I know quite a few millionaires. I know 2 billionaires. I could call 2 billionaires right now. I know 2 billionaires with a B. I don't call on them much. I don't talk to them that often. I know millionaires. And I don't know too many of them. No, I don't know any of them that don't read. How many do you know that don't read? That's what we do over here. We are a book club, ladies and gentlemen. And we call it Rich People Read. And I want to get you in the habit as you make your way to becoming a millionaire yourself, as you grow your net worth to over $1 million, where you yourself can scrape up $1 million in 1 week's time if necessary. You won't be able to do it without reading. And so that's what we do. We read a book a month to instruct us in the ways of the successful through the power of reading. Last month, we read the book Think and Grow Rich. How's that lighting? There we go. Boom. Got the lighting just right on time. We read this book last month, Think and Grow Rich. Right now, we are reading the Moynihan Report. Last night, after I did King Talk over at the Lapeef Network, fantastic network with fantastic people that I support and rock with, we did a show called King Talk. And after King Talk, I went and started browsing around YouTube, and I jumped on a podcast of a girl who was she was a divester and was dogging out black men, and she had 3,000 people listening to her. And in the chat, they were just, black men ain't shit, black men this. Brother tried to go up and talk to her. She had callers calling in. She would never cam up. She never cams up. She never cams up. I went and looked at some of her older videos, and she never cams up. She's not on camera. It's just her voice and an avatar. But she has a big following, 300,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. And last night during her live show, she had 300,000. I'm sorry. She has 300,000 subscribers. She has over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. She never shows her face on her videos, and she only posts a video every once in a while. So she must have gained those followers back in the day. And most of her videos is disparaging black men. Talking shit about black men. It's not about helping them, not about saying this is what we notice, this is about what you should do. Just like niggas ain't shit, basically. And the show that she had on last night, she was doing a live show with 3,000 of her 300,000 subscribers. 3,000 was watching. That's 10% of her. That's a good number. So she had a nice engagement. She had a lot of people watching her show. And the name of the show was basically, It's Black Men's Fault. That was the title I think the title of the stream was, It's All Black Men's Fault. You the leader, right? So it's all your fault. Try to change my mind. Call in. So she had a phone number on the screen to call in. And I was listening to some of the callers. It was a lot of women. Yeah, niggas ain't shit. Black men ain't shit. I believe it, girl. High five, girl. These niggas, they all dusties. All these dust. I mean, the sign language was like, ooh, dogging out. Just niggas. It was a trip to listen. It was cringy to watch. And you had to be a subscriber to get involved in the chat. So I'm watching the chat fly by, and everybody in the chat, majority was just dogging out black men. Fuck black men. This is why white men is better than black. It was just dogging us out. This one brother tried to call in, was like, hey, I got some stuff for you. I got some numbers for you. He was hitting her with numbers, and she was tripping up. Now, of course, she was being supported by her chat, and she was trying to combat him, but he kept hitting her with numbers. And it was a young brother too. You could hear, when you hear it in somebody's voice, he was a young brother. First person that she kicked off was a guy who was Italian. His mother was Italian and his father was mixed. So she said, oh, you white, get off my show. He was like, no, I'm a black man. I identify with black. I mean, my mom is Italian. My father is a black guy. He's mixed, but he's black, and I identify, I'm black. She was like, no, you're a white man, get off. She kicked him off the show. You only 25%. You ain't black, you white. kicked him off the show. And he was very respectful. He had a cool, calm demeanor. He was talking really, respectful to the young lady. He sounded kind of black to me. And she was like, no, you 20. And then in the chat, I'm looking at the chat and they were like, oh, you just 25%. You just 25% of black. You a white boy. Can't no white people come up here and speak on no black issues. I was like, man, she's dogging this brother out there. She booted him. And then they flamed him in the chat. And I'm thinking to myself, damn. They flamed him in the chat, y'all. I'm like, wow. So this brother came up right after. He was like, hey, I'm a black man. I'd like to have a conversation with you. She was like, yeah, so tell me why it's not all black men's fault. And I'm trying to listen like, what is all our fault? Like what? Dating, relationships, the state of black America. I didn't get that far, right? He was just, convince me why. And so he starts saying, well, let's look at some of these numbers. And so he said, it's kind of everybody's fault. It's black men that's not doing what they're supposed to do. It's black women that's not doing what they're supposed to do. It's black people's fault. No. You the leader, right? And he was like, look, okay. Look, let me hit you with some numbers. So he started hitting her with some numbers. He started to actually eat her ass up. So you can't refute data and statistics, but she was coming back with some data and statistics. And she threw out a report that I hadn't heard of. And he said, yes, but the Moynihan Report says otherwise. I was like, oh, score. He hit her with the Moynihan Report, the report that we are reading right now, ladies and gentlemen. He hit her with the Moynihan Report. And she was in there, nah, you niggas ain't shit. Y'all are all this, that, and the other. And he said, well, are you saying that it's some of us? Because see, the statistics show that it's a small percentage of black men that are lost and, between jail and crime and the baby daddies. And no, it's most of y'all. It's a small percentage of you guys that are kind of good. Most of all black men in America ain't shit. The majority. She made it crystal clear. I am not talking about the minority. She said most all black men in America ain't shit. And he was like, well, stats say otherwise. And she tried to combat the stats with a lot of personal experience. And he was like, no. He hit her with the Moynihan Report. She said, I read the report. Now here's what's a trip. And this is why I'm bringing this up to you guys. She was like, I read the Moynihan Report, and that report, it's kind of like, okay, true, but that ain't what's really happening. And he was like, well, wait a minute, let's talk about welfare. Oh, you playing victim. Now, mind you, this whole show is about victim. Niggas ain't shit. Black men is the problem. Black men the entire show is a victim show. It's not us black women. It's all black men's fault. We are completely vindicated of any responsibility for any plight in the black community. The whole show is about victimhood. And she was telling him how he was playing victim. And he was like, no, I'm not playing victim. I'm just saying that this is what happened. And the Moynihan Report shows this is what white people did when they got jobs. And this is what black people did when they got jobs. And then this is what he discovered that black women did. So they played kind of a part. Black men didn't step up, but also black women, and they kind of got in cahoots. No, that's not true. Ain't no black woman taking welfare over a man that got a job. That's what she said. And he was like, well, when women were given the opportunity, he says that that's not true. Moynihan is lying. She said that Patrick Moynihan is lying. The Negro Family, the Case for National Action, commonly known as the Moynihan Report, was a 1965 report. 56 years ago, this was written. On black poverty in the United States, written by Daniel Patrick Moynihan, an American sociologist serving as Assistant Secretary of Labor under President Lyndon B. Johnson. She said that he was wrong. This young girl said that he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. She said, granted, she said some of his stuff was true, but she didn't touch on that. She said, by and large, he didn't know what he's talking about. I was like, are you kidding me? Ain't no black woman doing that. And he was like, well, you know, it was kind of like the men was kind of gone and they abandoned their families in some cases. Women didn't that the ones that could get a man wouldn't take no welfare. She said, then they didn't have no, he said, yeah, but then there wasn't no jobs for some men. No, it's because them niggas was lazy back in the day. She said all the black men was lazy. She said all your grandfathers and your great grandfathers, the men of 1940, 1950, 1960, 1970 was lazy, shiftless niggas too. All of our grandfathers that worked at the factories, that were barbers and worked in the, you know, wherever she said they was all lazy. And the chat was backing her up, man. It was and 3,000
to the real world.
It was mind blowing. Shout out to Dwayne Nash for subscribing to the channel. Welcome to the real world, brother. See, over here, I don't bash women. I believe in the nuclear family. I want black men and black women, or black men and other than black women, or black women and other than black men to get together. This whole single life is for the birds. This single life is for the birds. I want love to prevail. I want black people to fall in love and create family. Whether you a brother with a sister or a brother with an other, or you are a sister with a brother or a sister with an other, I want y'all to get together. This single life sucks. And let's have the conversation, as they say at the Lapeef Network, so we can figure out what the problem is and address it. Right now, there's a war in the streets. It's a war in the streets, you guys. We're not really getting along. Things aren't really working out for us, and the numbers are showing that. But when you get to somebody who has such a high following and such an influence on others, and you just ignore the facts, you ignore the data, the scientists, it's like, what do you do at that point? At that point, it's not even worth. I was gonna come up, I was gonna call in last night. I was like, no, I'm not calling in. The fuck I'm gonna do that for? She's not trying to listen to understand nothing. She's committed to misunderstanding me, particularly a black man. So I was just like, I'm not calling in. I didn't call in, you guys. It's a trip, man. She said the Moynihan Report, Patrick Moynihan didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. And she had no other stats or data to back that up. I guess she just felt that was the case. The young brother brought up some stats from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, headquartered in Georgia. Mr. Awesome, everybody throw your ones up. He never fails, you guys. Mr. Awesome is in the house. Salute from the job. He's at work. He says, Shan, is there a replay from the Insanity Challenge? I was an hour deep in work at the time. P.S. These horses stank like her logic. Exactly. Yes, there is a replay. It's under my playlist called Burn. What he's asking about, sidebar, what he's asking about is, you guys, this morning we started our group workout. Are you interested? Okay, so I got to do a shameless plug. Thank you. I'm going to put that up. Let me put his stuff up. Mr. Awesome says, look, Shan, salute from the job. Is there a replay for the Insanity Challenge? I was an hour deep at work. So Insanity, we started our fitness workout this morning. We are just this week and this week alone, we're just doing we're doing part of the workout as a lead up to begin at the beginning of the year next week. If you are 20 pounds, no, let me change that. If you would like to lose 20 pounds, I'm telling you what I know. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm not telling you what somebody told me. I'm not telling you what I read online. I've been doing Insanity for 10 years. I was given this program 10 years ago. If you want to lose 20 pounds, guaranteed, by the end of February. It's a 2-month program, 60 days. I guarantee you will drop. If you are currently wearing 2X, you will be wearing a large in February. Come Valentine's Day, you will be, if you are a 2X today, you will be wearing an extra large. If you are extra large, you will be a large. If you are a large, you will be wearing a medium. You will lose, if your pants, fellas, is a 38, you'll be in a 34 or a 36 in February. Guaranteed. Guaranteed, or your money back. And it's free, by the way. It's available to everybody on my channel. All you got to do is subscribe to my channel. It's not just for the members. It's for everybody. I made this available for everybody. Here's what you got to do, though. There's a commitment that's necessary because insanity is not easy. And even if you're in, it's for everybody of all ages, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to even be able to keep up. You do not have to be able to keep up, but you just got to give it a shot. And here's the reality. You have to commit to it 6 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday mornings. We work out 6 days a week for the next 2 months at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. At 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. You can come here to YouTube and watch us work out. You're going to see me, if nobody else, do the workout. I am out of shape, you guys. I have my Halloween candy, my Thanksgiving dinner. My mother cooked Thanksgiving this year. Ooh, I'm just thinking of that, man. My mama could get down. My mama cooked Thanksgiving dinner this year. Me and my boys had Thanksgiving over there. I got Thanksgiving leftovers from Granny Gigi and from Nana. Then I got all this holiday weight. This is this jet. I'm fat, you guys. You are going to watch your boy Shannon transform my body in real time. And here's what's real. And by the way, I do this all the time. It's gonna happen. It's not like I'm guessing if it's gonna. I wonder if it's gonna. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's gonna happen. The reality is, you're gonna watch me do it. You're gonna be like, God damn, I remember what he looked like in the beginning. And I'm sorry to tell you, 2 months is like a blink of an eye. You're gonna wake up and be like, damn, the time is gone. If you don't start with me right now, you're gonna wish you did. You're gonna be like, that could have been me. That could have been me. If you're single and you do not have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you want somebody fit, if you intend to be fit, listen, I'm sorry, 80% of Black women are overweight, and 80% of those overweight women are obese. Men want fit women. Ladies, y'all need to get in on this. But here's the thing, fellas, your fat ass need to get in on this too, because you cannot demand a fit, feminine, friendly, and faithful woman and fun. Fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, and fun woman. Keyword fit. If you don't exemplify the best version of yourself as well. You want a fit woman, but you fat and sloppy. How you gonna have sex, man? I mean, come on, we keep it real over here, right? How you gonna please your woman sexually if your ass is too tired to give it to her like she wants it? You don't have no stamina. You tuckered out. You're sweating all over her. It's all your nasty sweat. Your flabby body is flapping all over her body. Women don't like that shit, bro. Come on, man. Get it together. Women don't like that. Get your shit together, brothers. And here's the reality. The women that you actually want will start suddenly checking for you when you start trimming down and you can wear a shirt that ain't oversized. You can tuck in your shirt. Your drawers ain't bunched up and shit. It makes you feel good about yourself, man. There is the fountain of youth is real. The fountain of youth is real. Has everybody taken their vitamins for today? I'm gonna kill this today 2 times. This is the first bottle. I'll have another bottle later. We are working out. I am motivating you guys. I am not training you. I am motivating you to do what you need to do to redesign your body. I want you to reshape your bodies. You are motivating me to do it. We are accountability partners. The whole purpose of me doing this online fitness thing is because I want to be your accountability partner and I need to be yours. And I need you to be mine. I want to be your accountability partner and I want you to be mine. And so we could work out together. You and I together every morning at 6 o'clock. All right. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to Mr. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to read chapter 4 of the Moynihan Report. This is the report that the woman decided to not believe in last night. But at the very least, at least you'll be equipped to understand what this report is. Today is the tangle of pathology. The tangle of pathology. I appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys being here. You ready to read? Everybody, go ahead and fire up your PDF. If you don't have a copy of the Moynihan Report, it's in the description of this video, or it's pinned at the top of the chat. It's pinned at the top of the chat, or it's in the description of the video. Fire it up. And if you don't want to read along, just listen to your boy. It's an easy read. It's an easy read. Thank you for everybody for being here. Hey, Erica. Hey, Jill. Princessa. Brittany B. Love you. Love you, Brittany B. Hey, Mika G. Sherry is here, y'all. Man, salute to all the soldiers. Appreciate you guys for showing up, man. Thank you for supporting me.
Sure, I understand.
Ain't nobody talking to you, Siri. Siri just be listening. Siri and Alexa. Shit. Can't even say her name. They just be listening. They just jump up. What you say, Shan? I ain't say nothing. I ain't call you. Salute to all the soldiers. I appreciate you guys. You know, anyways, we'll talk about that later. I appreciate you guys more than you can imagine. You guys help me out and you hold me up. I was telling somebody that, man, I was on the phone last night. I was thinking like, man, I may have to change my career and move to, for 2022, just go headstrong into content creation over here at YouTube, because there's so much stuff I want to talk about. Anyways, let's go. Everybody turn your volume up. Let's switch over to our read screen. Everybody turn your volumes up. Let's switch over to our read screen. We're going to read the second to the last chapter, chapter 4, The Entangle of Pathology. The Negro Family, the Case for National Action, also known as the Moynihan Report. Now, if you're just tuning in with us, grab the PDF that's in the description of this video. It's easy to read. It's like an article, you guys, to be honest with you. Each chapter is maybe 5 minutes if you just read straight through. You can literally catch up with us in 30 minutes. So just listen to this part right here. And then going on, you'll be able to say that you've read, I heard, it's a lot of people, I heard the Moynihan Report. No, you'll be able to say, yeah, I've read the Moynihan Report. That's what the girl did last night. That's what when the guy brought up the Moynihan Report, I was looking in the chat and a lot of people was like, what is that? She was like, I read the Moynihan Report. See, it's good to be able to, and here's the thing. He was killing her with stats. It's good to be able to combat people with facts and data. It's good to be able to support your points with facts and data, because that's what he was doing to her. She turned around and then started insulting him and shaming. No, she wasn't shaming. She was insulting him. She just started hurling insult. She had nothing else to do. All she could do was start insulting the brother. He didn't insult. He was a young black man. He was just, hey, this is what I think. I think it's black men's fault and black women's fault. Let's look at what. No. It's all black men's fault. There's nothing. The black woman didn't do anything wrong. It's all the black man's fault. Well, he said, well, according to this, and this is the situation, and these are some of the decisions that women have made over the years, and it's not really their fault. Kind of white supremacy had a little bit to do with it. No, you don't know. And he was just, look, this is what happened, and this is what. He used the Moynihan Report to support his argument, and he kind of really destroyed her in her position. And you know, of course, her staunch followers, you always got those people that's going to ride with you no matter what. And he was like, all right, I'll bid you a good night. He hung up the phone. I was like, wow. And I left. So now you guys are going to have the same information that young man used to support his point during his discussion with that woman. Let's go, you guys. Chapter 4, the tangle of pathology. Everybody turn up your volumes. Listen to your boy read. And here we go. And I remember I replaced Negro with black because this report was written 56 years ago, you guys. I mean, 1965, everybody was Negro. Are you a Negro? No, we black now, right? So I'm changing Negro to black as I read. That the black American has survived at all is extraordinary. Man, is that a great way to start off a chapter? By the way, for those that's never read with me, I do a lot of sidebars. I'll stop reading and just address what the fuck I just read. That the black American has survived is extraordinary. This is what a white man is saying in 1965. These black people are amazing. The fact that they still here. I mean, most people would have just died off. But these black people that suffered through 300 and something odd years of slavery is still here. That's extraordinary. That the black American, this is written in 1965. Here we go. That the black American has survived at all is extraordinary. A lesser people might simply have died out, as indeed others have. That the black community has not only survived, but in this political generation has entered national affairs as a moderate, a humane, and a constructive national force is the highest testament to the healing powers of the democratic ideal and creative vitality of black people. But it may not be supposed that the black American community has not paid a fearful price for the incredible mistreatment to which it has been subjected over the past 300 years. In essence, the black community in America has been forced into a matriarchal structure. A matriarchal structure. Does everybody know what a matriarch is? Just relating to or denoting a form of social organization in which a woman is the head. Oh, blowing it up doesn't help. A matriarch is relating to or denoting a form of social organization in which women is the head, no men. Patriarch is for men. Matriarch is for women. So a way to remember matriarch and patriarch: mama, papa. Matriarch, mama. Patriarch, papa. That's how you remember it. I know that just helps some people because it helped me. I know. Oh, damn, great. That's a great way to remember that, Shan. Yes. Matriarch, mama. Patriarch, papa. All right. In essence, the black community has been forced into a matriarchal, mama, structure, which, because it is out of line with the rest of American society, seriously retards the progress of the group as a whole and imposes a crushing burden on the black male and, in consequence, on great many black women as well. I want to read this again. Remember, this is how we read over here, ladies and gentlemen, especially something this fast, because this is a quick read. The black community has been forced into women running the structure. And because that is out of line with the rest of the American society, where men run it, like in Asian communities, men run it. In Hispanic communities, men run. In white communities, men run. In black communities, women run it. It seriously retards the progress of the group of all black families as a whole and imposes a crushing burden on the black man and, in consequence, a great many black women as well. When black men fail, our women fail. There is presumably no special reason why a society in which males are dominant in family relationships is to be preferred to a matriarchal arrangement. However, it is clearly a disadvantage for a minority group to be operating on one principle, while the great majority of the population and the one with the most advantages to begin with, like white people, is operating on another. Why is such a sidebar? Why is such a minority people, black people, operating on this matriarchal principle when the people that's winning is operating on a patriarchal principle where the men are in charge? That ain't helping the black people when mama and big mama in them is running all the family. And over here, the people that's in charge, the white folk, is running on a completely different system. This is present situation of black people. Ours is a society which presumes that that male leadership in private and in public affairs. The arrangements of society facilitate such leadership and reward it when men are in charge. A subculture, such as that of the Black American, in which this is not the pattern, over there they got women running everything, is placed at a distant disadvantage. Listen, sidebar, ladies, this is no slight to you. I want to be clear, because I know some women are listening to this and is thinking, damn, the fuck? You know, what are we, just accessories? Well, you know, you want us to just be Stepford wives? No, I know that's how. I know your emotions is because you run a lot of your logic through your emotions, and that emotionally you're feeling that way. This is the order of things. It's almost like you think we're dissing you. You know, does the female lion, we always point to the animal kingdom, right? You think the female lion is upset that she's a female lion and that she hunts for the cubs and that she takes care of the cubs and she brings in the food and that the male lion does what he does? You think the silverback gorilla and the female gorilla, you think the female gorilla is upset at the silverback because he's who he is? In the sea world, whales, sharks, dolphins, elephants, the bull elephant, cows and bulls. You think cows are upset that they're cows and that the bulls is oppressed? Listen, I know that a lot of times you read this stuff and it's like, yo, why are they making it seem like it's not that, ladies and gentlemen? There's an order. We didn't make the rules. We evolved this way. We're animals. Did you know that you're an animal? You are an animal. We're just sentient. We are aware of our existence. Your dog is not aware of its existence. Your cat is not aware of his existence. You just happen to know you're here. When you look into a mirror, you know that you're standing there. That's the only difference. Other than that, we're just animals. So don't look at these kind of reports, ladies, and I implore you to just be a little bit more objective to some of the talking points that you hear in these streets when men are saying what they're saying, and when people say, "Oh, we're out of order." You know, what do you mean? No, would you think women can't run? That's not what we're saying, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to pay attention. Pay attention to the order of things and how it's been for centuries. Let's remove the oppression. Let's remove the bullshit that men and the mean shit that men have been doing to women, but we still have to have. Gee whiz, everybody, throw your ones up. Throw your ones up. Throw your ones up. Ladies and gentlemen, throw your ones up. RCC 72 came in here and dropped $100. He just dropped $300 on Monday. He dropped 300 on Monday. He came in here this morning and hit us with another 100. Everybody, throw your ones up. For those that don't know my channel, we stopped doing what we're doing when people send blessings. When people send blessings, we stop doing what we do. RCC 72 just hit me with a second $100 blessing to help this channel move forward, to help keep me reading to you guys, to help me purchase books, to help me pay for the super fast internet that I had to upgrade to just to make the videos work right. I had to call my cable company and say, yo, man, my internet is giving me lag. And they was like, oh, yeah, you're going to have to upgrade to our next package. You'll have to pay for our next package to make sure that your internet is working properly so you could stream in high definition and have a clear picture with no jitters. Yeah, and that's going to cost X amount of dollars. So now I'm paying over $100 a month in just internet, just the internet. I don't got TV and phone. And then you got people like RCC 72 coming in here dropping bombs. Ladies and gentlemen, I stopped doing what I'm doing when people come over here and bless me like that. I'm not like the other channels. And when it gets too busy that I can't stop, it's always going to be on the screen. It's always going to be on the screen. Everybody, throw your ones up to RCC 72 who has blessed this channel with $500 in just 2 days. What kind of people do you want to... Remember, I asked you when we opened up this show, how many millionaires do you know? How many millionaires do you know? So let's ask this question. How many people do you know that can afford to bless a YouTube channel with $500 in 2 days? Clearly, his bills is paid. Clearly, his mortgage is covered. What kind of people do you have in your circle, ladies and gentlemen? Get yourself in RCC 72 Detroit. Wherever you live, find yourself in RCC 72 Detroit. Get rid of the broke people that's sucking down on you, and then find you somebody like RCC who can sharpen your iron, because iron sharpens iron. Shout out to you, man, RCC. I appreciate you, bro. We're getting back to the report. I'm going to continue reading, but I'm reading. I got to talk to my man. And then I had Mr. Awesome bless me with a super chat. I had JT Coin Rings and Chicago Rilla bless me during the workout. Everybody throw your ones up for Mr. Awesome's second blessing. Mr. Awesome come in here and hit me again with another blessing. Hit me again. He says females in the animal kingdom prioritize the strongest, best adopted males, strong father, strong babies. It is possible because males divert danger. By the way, RCC didn't have anything to say. He was just like, yo, Shan, this is $100 for chapter 3. And here's another $100 for chapter 4. I'm just blessing what you're doing, Shan. My man, Mr. Awesome is over here saying, yo, Shan, I'm just hitting you with some information on the animal kingdom. Because that's what we were talking about before I had to take a moment. Everybody throw your ones up. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, brothers. Yes, I am blessed. Jill, you right. Shannon, she says, Shannon, you are a blessed man. I am blessed to have found people. You know, I did not know. I've never met RCC 72 or Mr. Awesome, Chicago Rilla, JT Coin Rings in person. I've never been able to physically, with this hand, shake those men. I'm going to make it happen in 2022, but I haven't been able to shake these men's hand in person. I've met these people through YouTube, and they're blessing my channel. Come on, you guys. I'm sorry. What kind of people do you hang around? Because this is the kind of people I want to hang around. All right, let's continue. Ladies and gentlemen, or ladies specifically, I was explaining that please don't take it when we talk about the black community doesn't work when women are running it. It's not a slight to you. You are our nurturers. You are our protectors of our culture. You are the ones who pour into our lineage and build our children. Let me do the heavy lifting, ladies. My shoulders is built for it. I'm built for it. Let me do the heavy lifting. Let me go out in the rain. Let me go out in the sun. Let me put on my boots. Let me grab my tools and go build so I can protect you and the babies. Let me go do that. You be pretty. I don't need to be pretty. You be the pillar of beauty of our relationship. Let me be a little rough. I'll be rough. Let me go do the hard work. You just take care of the family, make love to me, have a hot meal, and support everything that I'm doing. You do the research and development. No, you do the research. Let me do the development. You do the research, ladies. Let me do the development. Let me do the heavy lifting. But when you are out there doing this, shit is out of order and things fall apart. I didn't say it. This is what everybody else is winning and we not. So that's what he's saying. So don't take it personal. You're necessary. I need you. Men need you, ladies. Don't let it get twisted by those that are upset, as they call it, that are in red pill rage. Oh, fuck women. We don't. No. On a large scale, men don't need women because we built the world. But practically speaking, we need you, baby. We need you, and you need us. So let's get it together. Let's continue to read. Here, an earlier word of caution should be repeated. These is much evidence that a considerable number of black families have managed to break out of the tangle of pathology and to establish themselves as stable, effective units living according to patterns of American society in general. E. Franklin Frazier has suggested that the middle-class black family is, if anything, more patriarchal and protective of its children than the general run of such families. Basically, he's saying the black middle class in the 1965s, Papa was in charge. Patriarchal Papa. Dad was in charge of the middle class. Given equal opportunities, the children of these middle-class black families will perform as well or better than white peers. They need no help from anyone and ask for no help. By the way, when dad is in charge of these black 1965 middle-class families and women submitted to their husbands, and women allowed dad to be dad, and women did not emasculate their men, and the black woman submitted and surrendered her trust into her man, these middle-class black families performed as well or better than their white counterparts. They needed no help from anyone and didn't ask for none. I didn't write it, ladies. This is somebody else who wrote this 56 years ago. While this phenomenon is not easily measured, one index is that middle-class black people have even fewer children than middle-class white people, indicating a desire to conserve the advances that they have made and to ensure that the children that they do have do as well or better than white people. Black women who marry early to uneducated black laborers have more children than white women in the same situation. Black women who marry at the common age for middle class to educated black men doing technical or professional work have only 4/5 as many children as their white counterparts. Poor black women marrying shiftless or fucking with shiftless niggas do bad. But the middle class black woman who hooks up with an educated and well-to-do black man, not necessarily a high value, making a whole bunch of money man, but a decent, good, hardworking black man, tend to have only 4/5, not even as many children as their white counterparts. It might be estimated that as much as half of the black community falls into the middle class. 54% of black men are what, ladies and gentlemen? Childless and in the middle class. I'll repeat, 54% in today, 2021, of black men are childless and in the middle class. As far as the children go, 30% of black men are married. That leaves less than 20% of Pookies and Ray Rays. It might be estimated that as much as half of the black community falls into the middle class. However, the remaining half is in desperate and deteriorating circumstances. Moreover, because of housing segregation, it is immensely difficult for the stable half to escape from the cultural influences of the unstable half. Basically, because of black people's proximity to each other. The upwardly mobile black people and the poor black people, because they tend to run in the same circles, they tend to shop at the same supermarkets, they tend to go to the same nightclubs, they tend to work out at the same gyms, because they live in the same neighborhoods generally, or at least close to each other. The plight of the poor black people tends to infect, if for lack of a better term, the better black people. The children of the middle class black people often as not must grow up in or next to the ghetto, an experience almost unknown to white middle class children. That's me. I grew up in Hanson Hills. Sidebar. I grew up in Hanson Hills. Uppity. They call it like this is like Black Beverly Hills, like where I lived out in Pacoima, right? Just below me was the ghetto. It was the Pacoima projects. It was project. It was almost like just all I had to do was walk to. We all ate at the same burger spot. The niggas from my neighborhood and the niggas from the hood, we all ate at Keys Burgers. In order for me to get to school, I had to go through the ones that were living in the projects. That's what he's saying. Black people live next to each other, whether you live in well or you not. Here in Los Angeles, we have Baldwin Hills. For those that don't know, they call that Black Beverly Hills. There's Ladera, there's Baldwin Hills, there's View Park and Lamert Park. Then you got the hood. You got the Avs. You got the jungle right off of King Boulevard. That's the projects. It's all the same. And Crenshaw, and all the kids go to Crenshaw High in Dorsey. So you got the ones that grew up in a fancy neighborhood, and you got the ones that grew up kind of rough and tough, and the kids are all mixing and mingling at the same school. This is a phenomenon almost unknown to white people. I don't know how it is in your neighborhoods. Ladies and gentlemen, think about where you live. See, the white people, their children, when they're well-to-do, they don't know nothing else but well-to-do. They don't experience poor white people. Black people, good or poor, all mix and mingle together. They are therefore constantly exposed to the pathology of the disturbed group and constantly in danger of being drawn into it. It is for this reason that the propositions put forth in this study may be thought of as having a more or less general application. Sidebar: how many of you guys know that somebody that grew up in and they had their own bedroom, how many of you guys, it may be you, I may be talking to you. How many of you guys know somebody who grew up, had hot food every night, had plenty of clothes, they had a car, they had their own bathroom, they grew up kind of real well, and they still wanted to gangbang? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. How many of you guys know somebody who had no business gangbanging and they banged anyway? How many people know somebody who had no business acting hood and they acted hood anyway? They had food on the table. They had well-to-do parents. They lived in a decent neighborhood. Everything was cool, but they wanted to be they wanted to bang anyway. It's like, why are you banging? Bruh, you didn't have to struggle. You had clean drawers. You had a washer and dryer in your house. Like, you didn't have to go to a laundromat. Wait, you had a washer and dryer in your house? Like, you can just go downstairs and go into the garage or go into you had a washroom? Wait, you had a washroom in your house? You didn't have to like pile up your shit in plastic bags and go to the laundromat to do your laundry on Sundays? You had your own room? You didn't bunk with 3 other siblings all in one room and your mama slept on the sofa? You had your own room, you had your own bathroom, you had a pool, you had a swimming pool. What the fuck? You had like your own family it wasn't the pool that is part of the apartment complex. You had your own pool and a washer and dryer. Why are you running in the streets? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. They are therefore constantly exposed to the pathology of the poor people and constantly in danger of being drawn into ghetto life, even though they lived well. Come on, you guys know what I'm talking about. This is a black people thing. This is a black thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's continue. In a word, most black youth are in danger of being caught up in the tangle of the pathology that affects their world. And probably a majority are so entrapped. Many of those who escape, many of those in the hood or it's the good to-doers that escape, do so for one generation only. As things now are, their children may have to run to the gauntlet all over again. That is not the least vicious aspect of the world that white America has made. Wait, that is not the least vicious aspect of the world that white America has made for black people. Oh, everybody throw your ones up to Freedman's Journal. Throw your ones up to Freedman's Journal. I got Freedman's Journal on my channel, y'all. Shout out to Freedman's Journal. Everybody throw your ones up. What does Freedman say? He says 100 black people separating by socioeconomic class is completely foreign concept. The we in black people cuts across all socioeconomic lines to our detriment. See, white people say we got rednecks and they live over in the trailer park. They ain't got nothing to do with us over here in the suburbs. They separate them neighborhoods miles apart. The people over in the trailers live, you got to drive all the way down Hanneman's Road. And we live we on the west side in the suburbs. That's the white folk. Black people, we all right here together. We could just walk over to the homie's house and go swimming. I mean, I live in the projects, which is right down the street. I could just walk up to my homie's house who got his own swimming pool. That's how black people are. Shout out to Freedman's Journal, everybody. Throw your ones up. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, man. He says, listen, black people separated by socioeconomic class is completely foreign concept because to us, we all one. We all one. It's just black people. It ain't rednecks and suburbs or bourgeois. It's just we. Shout out to Freedman's Journal. Man, thank you for being here. I feel honored. Let's continue. Many of those who escape, listen, a sidebar real quick. It says, the last paragraph, it said, many of those who escape do so for one generation only. As things now are, their children may have to run the gauntlet all over again. What that means is sometimes, and this happens in Los Angeles, and I don't know how it happens in your city, sometimes you'll get a mom or a dad in the 70s who escapes the hood and moves to the suburbs, but probably their children's children run back to the hood. I'm not going to say if that happened in my family. I'm not going to say if I know anybody like that. But sometimes the family will say, you know what, we kind of in the hood. We in this gangbanging. You know, they might have been in the 70s or the 60s. Said it's getting kind of rough out here. Let's get our children and raise our children the fuck up out of here. Let's run over to the other side and try to escape this shit. And then we'll raise our kids in this area, but with black people, because of what Freedman's Journal just said, we all won. The grandchildren of the people that moved out run back to the goddamn hood and they become criminals and start gangbanging and doing dumb shit themselves. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, if your mama or your grandparents moved the hell out, but then somehow the grandbabies ran back to the hood. Just right. Super chat from Jess. She didn't even say nothing. She just like, here, Shan, let me put 10 on it. I got 10 on it. I wish we had a song for that. I know we got 5 on. I got to get that sound bite. Thank you, Jess Wright. Everybody throw your ones up for Jess Wright. Everybody throw your ones up for Jess Wright. I'm glad Jess Wright Music is here. You'll catch Jess Wright in all these spaces. In all the spaces. Jess Wright is on a lot of different shows. Now we got Jess. Look, today is a good day for me. I got my man RCC and Mr. Awesome blessing the channel. Then I got Freedman's Journal and Jess Wright Music blessing the channel. And then you guys are in here listening to this. Listen to your boy read the 4th chapter of the Moynihan Report, and we're talking about shit that you guys can identify with that was written 56 years ago, 5 decades ago, 5.5 plus decades ago. And you can identify with it now. We're talking right now about where our grandma moved out the hood, got somewhere else, and then you expected the kids and the children's children and the children's children's children to all be better off and upwardly mobile. No, what happened was grandma moved out the hood, raised the kids, but then the kids' ran back to the hood. Javaro, everybody see that soldier? See what Javaro? Look at the rank on next to his name. You see that? That's rank. Javaro is a member of the SR Army. Everybody throw your ones up. He has blessed the channel. You know what? And one thing y'all got to keep reminding me. What does he say? Real quick. Javaro says, reading this, I'm so appreciative of my upbringing in the Bahamas. Let's keep growing, team. 1, being number 1. isn't easy. And one thing that you guys keep making me forget, my stream sponsor, RCC is our stream sponsor. Let me hit him up. Boom. Let's run RCC 72 Detroit's name across the screen. He is the stream sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. Now we got my man, Javaro, who's a soldier. He is a member of this channel. He is a member. He joined the channel. That's why he has rank next to his name, blessing us with $20. He should put, Shan, here's 20. I got you, bro. I got you. Mind you, he was here at the beginning. He was wondering if I was going to be on time or not. He's like, man, look, Shan, I appreciate growing up. Listening to this, I appreciate growing up in the Bahamas. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro. My man. Ladies, y'all know what I'm talking about. Many of those who, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. Many of those who escape do so for one generation only, just one generation. Because grandmas, grandbabies ran back to the hood, even though grandma moved the fuck out of the hood. Why is that happening in Black America? How come when grandma moved out of the hood in the 60s and the 70s, all the kids and the kids' didn't become upwardly mobile? How come they ran back to the hood and decided to do nigga shit? Only in Black America. Freedman Journal wrote it in his super chat. Let's continue. Obviously, not every instance of social pathology afflicting the Black community can be traced to weakness in family structure. If, for example, organized crime in the Black community were not largely controlled by whites, there would be more capital accumulation amongst Black people, and therefore probably more Black business enterprises. Basically, the white people still ran the crime and Black people was just doing their work. And the money that was made from organized crime went to white people. Black people were just workers. Whether they was running moonshine, because this is written in 65, right? So whether they was running moonshine or doing some kind of criminal act or fucking forgery or whatever, whatever kind of organized crime in the 60s, it was controlled by white folk. Black people doing all the goddamn dangerous shit for it. The white people reaping all the benefits. And so Black people can't even do no Black business enterprises. There is no one Black community. There is no one Black problem. There is no one solution. Nonetheless, at the center of the tangle of pathology is the weakness of the family, the Black family structure. Once or twice removed, it will be found to be the principal source of most of the aberrant, inadequate, and antisocial behavior that did not establish, but now serves to perpetuate the cycle of poverty and deprivation in Black America. It was by destroying the Black family under slavery that white America broke the will of the Black people. They broke our will. Through slavery, the Black will was broken to succeed. We just gave up. Although that will has reasserted itself in our time, Black people became a little bit more, assertive. It is a resurgence doomed to frustration unless the viability of the Black family is restored. Slavery, y'all. Just broke. When you can't win, when you play by the rules and you do everything that you're supposed to do, and they turn around and they take the goalpost and they rip it out the ground, and then they walk further and then put it back in the ground and say, you didn't make a touchdown. You didn't make a field goal. And you clearly ran the full 100 yards. And then They rip up the goalposts and they walk back an extra 20 yards and they put it back in the ground and they draw a line and say, no, this is the touchdown. That's not the touchdown. This is the touchdown. This is the touchdown. Hold on. I got to answer this real quick. Got to send grandma a message. Hey, I'm in a meeting. I'll call you right back. I'll call you right back. I got to go, okay? Okay, bye. That's grandma. Grandma's like, talk to me. Black slavery broke the will of black people. 300 years of subjugation to... Anyways, even though the resurgence of our assertion came around, we start feeling better about ourselves. If we don't get our families together, we're going to fall apart again. That's what he said in 1965. Now he's going to talk about matriarchy. Mama. Remember? Patriarchy, papa. Matriarchy, mama. Ladies, before I start reading this, I have never read this, but I have a feeling that it's going to trigger some of you. I've never read what I'm getting ready to read, but I have a feeling it's going to trigger some women. It's just, don't look at it. It's not an attack. It's an observation. All right. It's not an attack. It's an observation. All right, here we go. Matriarchy. A fundamental fact of Black American family life is the often reversed roles of the husband and wife. A fundamental fact of Black American life is often the reversed roles of the husband and wife. This is 1965, he said this. Robert O. Blood Jr. and Donald M. Wolfe, in a study of Detroit families, noted that Black husbands have unusually low power. And while this characteristic of all low-income families, this is a characteristic of all low-income families, white people, Asian people, Hispanic people, and of course, Black people. This is a characteristic of all poor families. The pattern pervades the Black social structure. The cumulative result of discrimination in jobs, the segregated housing, and the poor schooling of Black men. In 44% of the Black families studied, the wife was dominant as against 20%, more than half of white wives. Whereas the majority of white families are equalitarian, the largest percent of Black families are dominated by the woman, dominated by the wife. Big Mama ran the family. Not granddaddy. Not Papa. Papa didn't run shit. Mama did. Nana did. Big Mama ran it all. Y'all know what I'm talking about because you thinking about your Big Mama right now. You thinking about grandma. You thinking about it right now. Damn, man. Moms is in charge of everything. The matriarchal mama pattern of so many Black families reinforces itself over the generations. This process begins with education. Although the gap appears to be closing at the moment for a long while, Black women were better educated than Black men. And this remains true today for the Black population as a whole. Who knew that in 1965? Who knew that in 1965? That's been one of my arguments. You know, we Black women, we starting to get it better than, like, y'all been working. You guys have been educated. You've been in school. You've been that. Ain't nobody tripping. Oh, we just now that we just now. No, you ain't just now. In 1965, he says that black women were better educated than black men in 1965. And this remains true today for the black population as a whole. The difference in educational attainment between non-white men and women in the labor force is even greater. Men lag 1.1 years behind women. Basically, he's saying in white societies, women were more educated than the men, more enrolled, more schooled than men, but the white men still ran the families. But in black society, women were more educated than men, but the women ran the families and the shit fell apart. It ain't all about the books. You wonder, well, why you don't give a fuck about my education? Don't you care about my degrees? How can that help what we doing? How can your basket weaving degree, your sociology degree, how can your degree in communications and you ain't got nothing and you ain't trying to be a reporter, how can that help what the fuck we got going on right here? The disparity in education attainment of male and female youth 16 years old to 21 years old who were out of school in February of 1963 is striking. Among the non-white males, 66.3% were not high school graduates, compared with only 55% of the women. A similar difference existed at the college level, with 4.5% of the males having completed 1 to 3 years of college, compared to 7.3% of women who completed college. The poor performance of the man in school exists from the very beginning, and the magnitude of the difference was documented by the 1960 census in statistics on the number of children who have fallen 1 or more grades below the typical grade for children of the same age. The boys have more frequently fallen behind at every age level. White boys also lag behind the white girls, but at a differential of 1 to 6 percentage points only. In 1960, 39% of all white people 25 years of age and over who had completed 4 years of college were women. 53% of non-whites who had attained this level were women. However, the gap is closing. By October 1963, there were slightly more black men in college than women. Among whites, there were almost twice as many men as women enrolled. Remember, enrolled is important. There is much evidence that black women are better students than black men. There's a lot of evidence that black women are just better students than black men. Daniel Thompson of Dillard University, in a private communication on January 9th, 1965, he said, quote, "As low as the aspirational level among lower class black girls, it is considerably higher than among the boys, the black boys. For example, I have examined the honor rolls in black high schools for about 10 years. As a rule, from 75 to 90% of all black honor students are girls. 75 to 90% of honor students was black girls, not the boys. Dr. Thompson reports that 70% of all applications for the National Achievement Scholarship Program, financed by the Ford Foundation for outstanding black high school graduates, are girls. 70% of the apps. 70% of the applicants that applied for the fucking scholarship were girls. Only 30% were boys. Despite efforts by high school principals submitting the names of boys. The high school principals was trying to push the boys to apply for the scholarship, but the girls, 70% of the scholarship, they went for that money. The finalists for this new program for outstanding Black students were recently announced. Based on inspection of the names, Jackie versus Carl, only about 43% of all the 639 finalists were male. However, in the regular National Merit Scholarship Program, men received 67% of the 1964 scholarship awards. Inevitably, these disparities have carried over to the area of employment and income. In 1 out of 4 Black families where the husband is present, let's read. I want you guys to pay attention. In 1 of 4 Black families in 1965, where the husband is there and he's an earner, he's working, and someone else in the family works, the husband is not the principal earner. The comparable figure for whites is only 18%. More important, it is clear that Black women have established a strong position for themselves in white-collar and professional employment, precisely the areas of the economy which are growing most rapidly and to which the highest prestige is accorded. The President's Committee on Equal Employment Opportunity, making a preliminary report on employment in 1964, over 16,000 companies with nearly 5 million employees revealed this pattern with dramatic emphasis. In this workforce, Black men outnumber Black women by a ratio of 4-1. Yet Black men represent only 1.2% of all males in white-collar occupations. That means even though Black men work 4-1, 4 times more than Black women, they were just digging ditches. They were janitors and scrubbing toilets. All they did was they were parking lot attendants and car washers. The prestigious positions, they only represented 1.2% of the prestigious jobs. You can shine my shoes. You got a job, Black boy. You got a job, but you could only shine my shoes. You can clean my out. You can go mow my lawn. Black men represent 1.1% of all male professionals, whereas Black women represent roughly 6% of all female professionals. Again, in technician occupations, Black men represent 2.1% of all male technicians, while Black women represent damn near 10% of all female technicians. It would appear, therefore, that there are proportionately 4 times as many Black women in significant white-collar jobs than Black men. Even though Black men outnumbered Black women in the workforce, in white-collar jobs, Black women outnumbered Black men 4-1. Is that wild? So the Black women had white-collar jobs. Black men, they just parked the cars. They were the doorman. That nigga was the doorman. He didn't even have an opportunity to do anything better. And he had to go home and try to be the boss of a woman that had a better job than him? You think she was listening to her husband? You think there was a little bit of emasculation there? Like, you don't even run a report. You don't even know how to run a report. I run reports. All you do is shovel dirt. I ain't listening at you. The fuck you gonna tell me what to do? I'm gonna do my children the way I want to do my children. You can't even run the computer that I'm running. This big old wall full, I'm working at NASA. You work at NASA too, but you are the janitor. That's what you do. You take out, you clean, you scrub the toilets at NASA. I have an office. So don't come home tonight trying to tell me to be friendly with you. I don't want to cooperate. I don't need to cooperate with you. You don't even make the money I'm making. And men heard that night after night after night after night after night, in household after household, all of us living in the ghetto and the suburbs together. Black men is being pounded by ridicule and emasculation and subjugation, and our women not loving on us and not giving us any kind of respect, because, and that's what men want. All men want is respect. We can't get the respect because we can't even get a job. And it ain't like we didn't try to get the jobs. They wasn't giving it to black. Remember what we read in the last chapters? You couldn't be a sassy nigga. You couldn't think high. Black men could not think highly of themselves, and black women was of no threat. Remember? You got to remember everything we read, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue. Quote, although it is evident that office and clerical jobs account for approximately 50% of all black women white-collar workers, it is significant that 6 out of every 100 black women, that's only 6% out of every 100 black women, are even in professional jobs. This is substantially similar to the rate of all women in such jobs. Approximately 7 out of 100 black women are in technical jobs. This exceeds the proportion of all women in technical jobs, approximately 5 out of 100. Basically, black women y'all was mathematicians. You guys were scientists. You were outperforming white people. 7 out of 100 black women were in technical jobs. 5 out of 100 women were. That means that black women was winning back then. Black females or black women in skilled jobs are almost the same as that of all females in such jobs. 9 out of every 100 black males are in skilled occupations, while 21 out of 100 of all males are in such jobs. Black men wasn't beating out their counterparts the way black women were. 9 out of 100 for black men in technical jobs. Skilled labor. Plumbers, electricians, skilled labor, right? Whereas 21 out of 100 for everybody else. This pattern is to be seen in the federal government as well, where special efforts have been made recently to ensure equal opportunity for black people. These efforts have been notably successful in departments such as the Department of Labor, where some 19% of employees are now black people. A not disproportionate percentage given the composition of the workforce in the areas where the main department offices are located. However, it may be well that these efforts have redounded mostly to benefit of black women and may have and may even accentuated the comparative disadvantage of black men. 70% of black employees at the Department of Labor are women. 70% of the black employees, 70% of the black employees at the Department of Labor are women, as contrasted to only 42% of white women. At the Department of Labor in 1965, 42% were white women. The other 60 or so percent was white men. White men ran the families. In black, 70% of black women worked at the Department of Labor. Only 30% of men and white and black women ran the families. Among non-professional labor department employees, where the most employment opportunities exist for all groups, black women outnumber black men 4-1. and averaged almost 1 grade higher in classification. So not only did they have more black women working in the non-professional labor, this is like the cooks, shit like that, right? They also outranked them. They were the bosses. The testimony to these effects of these patterns in black family structure is widespread and hardly to be doubted. Whitney Young. Who is Whitney Young? Whitney Young says, historically, in the matriarchal black society, in the women ran black society, mothers made sure that if one of their children had a chance for higher education, the daughter was the one to pursue it. Historically, in the women ran black, in the gynocracy of black society, in the women ran black society, if mothers had some kids and somebody had an opportunity to get an education, mama made sure the girl did it. The girl got the education, not the boy. Education of the daughter is where the pursuit went. The effect of family functioning and role performance of this historical experience, economic deprivation, is what you might predict. Both as a husband and as a father, the black man is made to feel inadequate, not because he is unlovable or unaffectionate, lacks intelligence, or even a gray flannel suit. But in a society that measures a man by the size of his paycheck. Come on, y'all. This is a bar. We spitting, we rapping right now. But in a society that measures a man by the size of his paycheck, black men don't stand very tall in comparison to his white counterpart. To this situation, he may react with withdrawal. The black man may have bitterness towards society, aggression, both within the family and racial group. He will have self-hatred or resort to crime. Or he may escape through a number of avenues that help him to lose himself in fantasy or compensate for his low status through a variety of exploits, drugs. Or he may drink and do drugs. That's a very nice way of saying if he don't get bitter and lash out, he just gonna get high and get drugged. That's what the girl mentioned last night. She said, "Yeah, the niggas that y'all just you drank," ignoring the reason why. Thomas Pettigrew. What does Thomas Pettigrew says? The black wife in this situation can easily become disgusted with her financially dependent husband. Ugh, that nigga, right? And her rejection of him further alienates the male from the family life. I repeat, the black wife in this situation can be disgusted with her husband. Cause the nigga don't make nothing. She's sitting around in the nail shop, or she's at the hair shop. That nigga ain't shit. And so the man, he further alienates himself from family life. Embittered by their experiences with men, many black mothers often act to perpetuate the mother-centered pattern by taking a greater interest in their daughters than their sons. I hate to say it, but I see it with my own two eyes. A woman that has a mother that has a son and a daughter, that daughter, that's the bestie. The son, fuck him. Fuck the sons. Oh, but I love my girl. Oh, that's my daughter. We besties. Let's do some TikToks together. Fuck that boy. Give a fuck about him. Come on. Don't act like y'all know. Don't act like this ain't hitting you guys and that you can't attribute this to some experiences that you've seen yourself. Yes, this was written 56 years ago and you guys are seeing the same shit today. Don't front. Deaton Brooks says, in a matriarchal, a mother-ran society, the women are transmitting the culture. Dorothy Height says, if the black woman has a major underlying concern, it is the status of the black man and his position in the community and his need for feeling himself an important person, free and able to make his contribution in the whole society in order that he may strengthen his home. Duncan M. McIntyre says, the black illegitimacy rate has always been high. Black people ain't never been able to really read and write. About 8 times the white rate in 1940, and somewhat higher today, even though the white illegitimacy rate is also climbing. The black statistics are systematic of some old socioeconomic problems, not the least of which are underemployment among black men and compensating higher labor force propensity amongst black women. Both operate to enlarge the mother's role. What black men do, that's the definition of a gynocracy for those that don't know. So for those that don't know what a gynocracy is and what's the difference between a gynocracy and a matriarchy, a gynocracy is a government of sorts where it's ran by men for the benefit of women. It's a government of women where men do the work in the benefit of the woman. That's what a gynocracy is. So right here, as he says, even though when men and women are working, both of them, the men and the women, operate to enlarge the mother's role, undercutting the status of the man and making many black families essentially a matriarchy. Education, you guys. You guys are learning here. We're going to learn right here. Welcome to Shannon Rawls. Please subscribe. I'm just telling you. The black man's uncertain employment prospects. The black man's uncertain employment prospects. I ain't sure if I can get a job. Also, the matriarchy that he has to deal with. And the high cost of divorce combine to encourage desertion. The poor man's divorce. That's what they call the poor man's divorce. I didn't know that. And it increases the number of couples not married and thereby also increases the black illegitimacy rate. The man didn't have no job. The woman was in charge and he couldn't afford to get a divorce. So that nigga just left. The man couldn't get a job. And if he had a job, he didn't get one as good as the wife. The wife ran the household and he couldn't afford to divorce her. So he just said, fuck it, I'm gone. He went out to go get a pack of cigarettes and never came back. You heard the stories. Baby, I'll be back. I'm going to the market. And he just kept going. In the meantime, higher black birth rates are increasing the non-white population. While the migration into cities like Detroit, in New York, in Philly, in Washington, D.C., is making public assistance roles in such cities heavily, even predominantly black. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, sidebar, we're just talking about the pathology. This is not somebody's observation. These are reports. I know that a lot of people don't want to believe this shit. They don't want to hear it. People do not, I don't see it that way. We don't give a fuck what you see. This is the numbers. That's not my experience. I don't give a fuck about your little single experience. This is the pathology of Black Americans. And some people seem to think they live in a bubble and they're not affected by it. That's bullshit. Let's continue. What y'all over here talking? Y'all just talking? I don't be looking at the chat because y'all derail me and shit. Robin M. Williams Jr. in a study of Elmira, New York. Where is Elmira, New York? Where is that? Alexa, where is Elmira, New York?
Elmira, New York is a city in Shannon County, New York. It is located 174.0 miles northwest of New York, New York. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Thanks for your feedback.
Okay, so Elmira, New York is about 100 miles northwest of New York, New York. Does everybody have an Alexa? I used to have Google. I used to be like, hey, Google. Google just wasn't as smart as Alexa. Who would think that? I got Google, the Google, the little Google things. I had them all over my house. And I would ask, and they would never know shit. I'm like, damn, you don't know nothing. And then I started asking Siri, and Siri was dumb. So then I grabbed an Alexa. Alexa seemed to know every fucking thing. I was like, damn. So I replaced my entire systems at my office and at my house with Alexa because she just be knowing stuff. So she just told me it's 100.1 miles northwest of New York, New York. Elmira, New York. I never even heard of Elmira, New York, but now I know. I'll set it off over there. All right, here we go. Let's continue. Robin M. Williams Jr. in a study of Elmira, New York, he says, quote, only 57% of Black adults reported themselves as married spouse present, as compared with 78% of native white Gentiles. 91% of Italians said that dad is home. And 96% of Jewish people was like, yeah, dad is home. Of the 93 unmarried Black youths interviewed, 22% did not have their mother living in the home with them. And 42% reported that their father was not at home with them. 1/3 of the youth did not even know their father's occupation. He didn't even know where dad worked, if he worked. And 2/3 of a sample of 150 Black adults did not know what the occupation of their father ever was. I don't know what my dad did. I don't know. So the kids was like, I don't know. 42% of the kids was like, I don't know what my daddy do. I don't know. I don't know what my daddy do. And 1/3 of 150 people was like, grown adults was like, I don't know what my daddy did. 40% of the youths, of the children, said that they had brothers and sisters living in other communities. Another 40% reported relatives living in their home who were not their parents, siblings or grandparents. That means the cousins. Well, my cousin came and stayed with us. My uncle here, my uncle live here, my auntie here. We had to bring in my uncle. He had nowhere to go. Then, as we discussed the pathology, the failure of youth. I'm going to read a little faster, you guys. Even though the chat is growing, you guys, some people are enjoying this. So this is the 4th chapter of the Moynihan Report. Here we go. The failure of Black youth, 1965. Williams's account of Black youth growing up with little knowledge of their fathers, less of their father's occupation, and still less of family occupational traditions is in sharp contrast to the experience of the white child. The white family despite many variants, remains a powerful agency not only for transmitting property from one generation to the next, but also for transmitting no less valuable contracts with the world of education and work. White people pass shit down. Black people sells grandma house. Sidebar. Y'all ever seen that meme on Insta? Don't sell grandma's house, because niggas will sell grandma's house quick. My mother was smart with our property in my family. I ain't selling nothing. Nothing is for sale. I am not selling no property. Period. What's the annual property tax? I'll pay it. I'm not selling nothing. We got too many kids, too many family members. Nothing's for sale. Every piece of property I acquire, I am instructing in my will, testament, in my trust. You can't sell shit. You can buy as much as you want, but you can't sell nothing. White folk know how to pass on some property. Black folk show want to sell grandma's house and move to the desert. Move to Palmdale, move to Lancaster, move to Arlington, Texas. Niggas. In an earlier age, the carpenters, the Wainwrights, the weavers, the mercers, the farmers, the smiths acquired their names as well as their trades from their fathers and their grandfathers. Children today still learn the patterns of work from their fathers, even though they may no longer go into the same job. White children without fathers at least perceive all about them the pattern of men working. Black children without fathers flounder and fail. White children, even though they may not kind of like know exactly what dad did, they kind of understood what kind of dad did. They knew, even by the last, this is how we do in our family. Black kids, I don't know what daddy do. I'm just out here, just aimless and floundering. Just don't know what the fuck. I don't know. No, I don't know. I think I want to be an NBA player. I'm gonna get in the NFL. I want to rap. Black families, their children, I want to be a rapper. I want to get in the NBA. White families, oh no, we have a family tradition. We're all in fashion, or we're all scientists, or we all do the family. Come on, you guys. This is 1965. You're saying that y'all know y'all can identify with this shit like yesterday. Not always, to be sure. The Black community produces its share, very possibly more than its share, of young people who have the something extra that carries them over the worst obstacles. Yeah, Black people are amazing. The fuck? But such persons are always in a minority. The common run of young people in a group facing serious obstacles to succeed do not succeed. A prime index of the disadvantages of the Black youth in the United States of America is consistently poor performance on the mental tests that are standard means of measuring ability and performance in the present generation. Black people just seem to continue to fail. There is absolutely no question of any genetic differential. Intelligence potential is distributed among Black infants in the same proportion as among Icelanders or the Chinese or any other group. Black people are born just as smart as any other human. Black babies are born just as smart as any other human anywhere on the planet. Go to Iceland. Black babies is just as smart. Go to China. Black babies are just as smart. American society, however, impairs the Black potential. American society impairs the Black potential. The statement of the Harry report that there is no basic disagreement over the fact that Central Harlem students are performing poorly in school may be taken as true of black ghetto children throughout the United States. 8th grade children in Central Harlem has a medium IQ of only 87.7, which means that perhaps a third of the children are scoring at levels perilously near to those of retardation. IQ declines in the first decade of life, rising only slightly thereafter. I remember I told you guys on my other show, I took the IQ test. I scored a 135. I was 5 points away from genius. So I landed at high intellect. You know, there's levels, right? And so where I landed, I was upset because I wanted to be considered officially a genius. I wanted to join the Mensa Society. So I scored 5 points less than a genius. I was up at 135, I believe it was. Yeah, 135. These kids is performing at 87.7, and I'm sorry, with social media and shit, I don't know that kids, do they even know how to write? Have you paid attention to some of they don't know what a run-on sentence is. Do they even use punctuation today? Have you paid attention to the text messages that some of the kids are writing today? They can't even formulate a proper fucking sentence. Here I am at a 135, and I'm upset that I didn't score a 140 on my IQ test. And we got children that don't even know how to formulate a sentence. At least I know that some of these kids in the 60s was able to formulate a goddamn sentence. And they were scoring 87.7 on the IQ test, and that was average, which means that some of them was damn near retarded. Retarded was a word that they used back then. The effect of broken families on the performance of black youth has not been extensively measured, but studies that have been made show an unmistakable influence. Martin Deutsch and Bert Brown, investigating intelligence tests, differences between black and white first and fifth graders of different social classes, found that there is a direct relationship between social class and IQ. As the one rises, so does the other, but more for whites than black people. This is surely a result of housing segregation, referred to earlier, which makes it difficult for middle-class black families to escape the slums. The author explains that it is much more difficult for the black person to attain identical middle or upper middle class status with whites, and the social class gradations are less marked for black people because black life in a caste society is considerably more homogeneous than is life for the majority group. What y'all over here talking about? I'm just being nosy. Don't sell grandma's house. That's right. Therefore, the authors look for background variables other than social class, which might explain the difference. One of the most striking differences between black and white people is the consistently higher frequency of broken homes and resulting family disorganization in the black families. Further, they found that children from homes where the father was present have significantly higher scores than children's where dad wasn't there. Can I read that again, ladies and gentlemen? For those that don't, did you guys see the show? Kevin Samuels right now has he has part 1, part 2, and part 3 of some interviews. Sidebar, everybody, sidebar. Kevin Samuels has right now part 1, part 2, and part 3 of some interviews on his page. In part 3, you'll see that, okay, first of all, it's cringy to listen to these young sisters talk. This is what they're picking from. This is, long nails and shit. They thinking they all want men that want $200,000 or more. They don't have no idea. One girl said that she's going to be worth $80 million as a fucking animator. Animators have an average salary of $58,000. She said she's going to be worth $80 million. It's almost like you don't know what the fuck you talking about. It's almost like so many women, young women in particular, are just so oblivious and blind to reality. It is scary as fuck. And the woman that said that she wants to be an animator, whose job averages $58,000, on the high end they make $100,000. And the odds are her ass ain't nowhere near becoming no fucking animator. She ain't gonna be doing no anime. She's not doing Dragon Ball Z. She ain't nowhere near it. She probably can't even barely draw. Right? Yeah, I'm being mean because I'm listening to the shit that she said. She talking about she's gonna be worth $80 million. Get the fuck out of here. But the point is, she said, I don't want to get married, but I want to have some kids. I want to have some kids. And, I ain't trying to get married. And what about the baby father? Kevin asked. She's like, well, he could probably live in the same house, but I prefer to be in my own place. And if he's in my same house, he has to be on the other side. As if you're going to get a place big enough to have an other side. It is mind-blowing to hear some of the shit they say. She don't even want the man. She just like, I want the baby. There's women out here that just want the baby. They don't give a fuck about husbands. They don't give a fuck about, and that should be child abuse. I'm saying this because I'm talking about women that talk about, I just want a kid. That should be child abuse if you have no aspirations on having a family for the child. Because right here, they further found that children from homes where father is present is significantly higher scores than children in homes without the dad. You're handicapping your kid that you claim that you want without a father because you just want a baby. Remember the post I did with Saweetie, right? Go look at my podcast. I talk about this stuff. They want the baby. They just want the sperm. They don't give a damn about the man himself. Even though the reports are showing that having dad in the house make a difference. It's child abuse. You know how selfish that is? I want a baby just because I want a baby. I don't give a fuck about the baby's outcomes. I don't give a damn about my children succeeding in life. I don't give a fuck about how well they do. I just want to do mommy and me outfits. I just want to take pictures and show everybody on my social media page my baby so I can get some baby. I just want to do a baby shower. That's all I give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about the success of my children. Fuck that. That's not important to me. And once I'm tired of them, they'll be out of the house anyway. And then they'll be here to help take care of me when I get old. Because children is a retirement plan for a lot of people. Let's continue. The influence of the father's presence was then tested within the social classes and school grades for blacks alone. They found that a consistent trend within both grades at the lower SES social class level appears, and in no case is there a reversal of this trend. Basically, it helps the young kids, and it continues to help them all the way through school. For males, females, the combined group, the IQs of children with fathers in the home are always higher than those who have no father in the home. Children with dad at home scored higher on their IQ test than kids with no dad. But you don't want to, you just want a baby. You don't want no husband. You don't want no family. You don't even need that nigga. You don't even want to live with the nigga. You just want to be, you're so used to just wanting to be a baby mama. You don't give a fuck about the support. About the success of the kid, even though your kid is going to do better if dad is home. The authors say that broken homes may also account for some of the difference between black and white intelligence scores. The scores of fifth graders with fathers absent were lower. The scores of fifth graders where dad was not at home were lower than the scores of first graders with fathers that were absent. And while the authors point out that this is cross-sectional data and does not reveal the duration of the father's absence, what we might be tapping is the cumulative effect of fatherless years. You know what that just said? Let me just, because I know some of you guys are not understanding what I'm reading. The kids got dumber. Fifth graders with no dad scored lower than first graders with no dad, because cumulative fatherless years, first graders, second grade, no dad, third grade, no dad, fourth grade, no dad. You finally get to fifth grade, no dad. You take the test, you stupider than you was when you was in the first grade. The kids are dumber at fifth grade level with no dad than they were in the first grade with no dad. They got dumber. That's what that paragraph just said. Let's continue. This difference in ability to perform has its counterpart in statistics on actual school performance. Non-white boys from families with both parents present are more likely to be going to school than boys with only one parent present, and enrollment rates are even lower when neither parent is present. When the boys from broken homes are in school, they do not do as well as the boys from whole families, mom and dad present together. Grade retardation is higher when only one parent is present, and highest when when they're foster children and no parent is present. You know, grandma is raising them or uncle is raising them. No mom and dad ain't there. That's the worst. The loneliness of the Black youth in making fundamental decisions about education is shown in a 1959 study of Black and white dropouts in Connecticut high schools. Only 29% of Black male dropouts discussed their decision to drop out of school with their fathers, compared with 65% of the white men who dropped out. 38% of the Black males were from broken homes. In fact, 26% of the Black males did not discuss this major decision in their lives with anyone at all. They didn't tell nobody. They're like, I ain't saying shit. I'm just dropping out. Compared with only 8% of white males. White kids that dropped out, they talked to somebody about it. Hey, I'm thinking about dropping out of school. What do you think? What's your thoughts on this? Black people was like, I ain't telling nobody shit. Black boys, they was like, I ain't saying nothing to nobody. A study of Black apprenticeship in New York State Commission against discrimination in 1960s, they did a study in 1960 in New York State Commission against discrimination. What they concluded was Black youth are seldom exposed to the influences which can lead to apprenticeship. Blacks are not apt to have relatives or even friends or neighbors, in that matter, in skilled occupations. Nor are they likely to be in secondary schools where they receive encouragement and direction from alternative role models. Within the minority community, skilled Black models, people to look up to, after whom the Black youth might pattern himself, are rare. There's no models. There's no examples in the Black community. While substitute sources which can provide the direction. That's the gangbangers. That's the drug dealers that acted as father figures. Encouragement, resources, and information needed to achieve skilled craft standing are non-existent. That's why the dope boys became pop. Lil Wayne and Baby. I'm sorry, Birdman. Lil Wayne and Birdman. Oh, it's still Baby, right? That's his name. Delinquency and crime. Let's talk about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about that. Delinquency and crime. What princess? She says, see, y'all need to abstain until after marriage. No sex, stop fornicating. You know, Larry Elder says there's a guaranteed way to avoid poverty. There's a guaranteed way to avoid poverty. Does everybody know it's only 3 steps you need to do to guarantee yourself out of poverty? For young people, it's too late for some of y'all old folk. This is for young people. I'll read it. I'll tell you later, because I tell this to young people all the time. There's 3 things you got to do to avoid poverty. You can dodge poverty like a motherfucker. All right, delinquency and crime. Let's talk about that. The combined impact of poverty, failure, and isolation among Black youth has had the predictable outcome in a disastrous delinquency and crime rate. In a typical pattern of discrimination, Black children in all public and private orphanages are a smaller proportion of all children than their proportion of the population, although their needs are clearly greater. On the other hand, Blacks represent a third of all youth in training schools for juvenile delinquency. It is probable that at present, a majority of the crimes against the person, such as, sexual assault or murder or aggravated assault, are committed by Black people. There is, of course, no absolute evidence. Inference can only be made from arrest and prison population statistics. The data that follow, there's a chart that was here, unquestionably are biased against Black people. The data is against Black people who are arraigned and convicted much more casually than whites. But it may be doubted that the bias is great enough to affect the general proportions. Is that crazy that in 1965, 56 years ago, they knew that the courts was against Black folk and ain't? I mean, goddamn. Where's the lead attorney? Where's my man, the lead attorney? In 1965, they knew that it was stacked against Black. I mean, the courts was unfair to Black. He wrote it. This is Patrick Moynihan that said, look, man, shit ain't fair for Black people in court in 1965. It ain't fair for Black people in court in 2021. What has changed? Let's continue. Again, on the urban frontier, the ratio is even worse. 3 out of every 5 arrests for these crimes were Black people. In Chicago, in 1963, 75% of the people arrested for crimes were Black. In Detroit, the same percentage and proportions held. 75% of Black arrests in Chicago and Detroit were Black people. In 1960, 37% of all people in federal and state prisons were Black. In that same year, 56% of the homicide and 57% of the assault offenders committed to state institutions were Black. The overwhelming number of offenses committed by Black people are directed towards other Black people. The cost of crime to the Black community is a combination of that to the criminal and to the victim. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why we're reading this. How many of you guys ever even heard of the Moynihan Report? How many people Generation X or older? How many of y'all even heard of the Moynihan Report? This report been around more. This report is older than I've been alive, and I've never heard of it until I got to the YouTube streets. Nobody even talked about it. You know what we get? You know what we told about? The Willie Lynch letter. Sidebar. We all know about the Willie Lynch letter. Oh, the Willie Lynch letter. Separate the light-skinned Blacks from the dark-skinned Blacks. The house niggas from the field niggas. We know about that fucking letter that many people argue is not even real. But no, none of us know about the Moynihan Report. Why wasn't I taught the Moynihan Report at Cal State Long Beach? How come when I went to LAVC, I didn't hear about the Moynihan Report? How come nobody in the Army taught me about the Moynihan Report? How come nobody in my neighborhood, nobody in my family, none of my friends know anything about the Moynihan Report? I don't know. But you know now. What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do with this information with your children? For all you young parents or aspiring parents, what are you gonna do with this information? Now you know you have no fucking excuse. No excuse. Let's continue. Some of the research on the effects of broken homes on delinquent behavior recently surveyed by Thomas F. Pettigrew in a profile of the Negro American is summarized below, along with several other studies of the question. Mary Diggs found that 3/4, that's 75%, twice the expected ratio of Philadelphia black delinquents who came before the law during 1948 did not live with both their parents. 75% of the people who had to go see a judge in 1948 did not have both parents. In predicting juvenile crime, parents are so fucking selfish. It's all about you. You don't give a fuck about your own kids. This has been prevalent for decades. When do we stop doing that? It's all about your happiness. You don't give a shit. You had kids and you don't give a shit about their success. It's just you. All you care about is you. And you know what's weird? The ones that need to hear this shit ain't paying attention to this podcast. See, the people that's watching this podcast, the people that's watching me live right now, you ain't the problem. The people that's watching this podcast is not the problem. It's the motherfuckers in your life that you know won't even hear this. They won't get past my introduction. They don't want to hear this. And if you try to tell them, they don't want to listen. Don't stop shoving it down their throats, ladies and gentlemen. I challenge you. I charge you with, you're not the issue. That's why you're here. It's incumbent upon you to make sure that the hard-headed people that you know get this information. You didn't know about the Moynihan Report, neither did I, but we know now. Now it's our jobs to make sure we get it out. Let's continue. In predicting juvenile crime, Eleanor and Sheldon Glueck also found that a higher proportion of delinquent than non-delinquent boys came from broken homes. They identified 5 critical factors in the home environment that made a difference in whether boys would become delinquents, discipline of boy by father. They identified 5 critical factors in the home environment that made a difference in whether boys would become delinquents or not. 1, discipline by the boy by his dad. Supervision of a boy by his mom. Affection of a father for his son. Affection, hugs, and loving a father's love for his son. And affection of a mother for her boy. And cohesiveness of family, mom and dad and children all getting along. Shout out to RCC. You just gave us $200. RCC, why are you putting 5 on it? Excuse me. RCC says, Shan, because y'all know the super chat's gonna get my attention. RCC is like, yo, Shan, you should create a playlist for just this report. A musical, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like a musical playlist for just this report? Is that what you mean? Music? Break it down to me, RCC. RCC, hit me in the back chat and tell me exactly what you think I should do so I can see if I can make it happen. Shout out everybody. Everybody throw up the one for RCC. He already gave $200 to the chat. Now he gave another $5. You know I'm going to update his stream sponsor. Instead of 200, it's not going to say 205. Now it says 205. Stream sponsor, $205 for this live from RCC 72 Detroit. Thank you for your contribution. RCC, hit me in the back chat and tell me what your thoughts are. We'll talk about it later today. He said I should make a playlist for this. All right, cool. Let's go. In 1952, when the New York City Youth Board set out to test the validity of these 5 factors, the ones that I just read, right? The affection, of the discipline from dad to son, the loving of dad to son, mom's discipline, and mom's loving on her son, and then the family cohesiveness. In 1952, when the New York City Youth Board set out to test the validity of these 5 factors as predictors of delinquency, a problem quickly emerged. The GLUEC sample consisted of white boys of mainly Irish, Italian, Lithuanian, and English descent. He counted, there was white children part of that group. However, the youth board group was 44% black and 14% Puerto Rican. And the frequency of broken homes within these groups was out of proportion to the total number of delinquents in the population. Man, I love data and stats, man. Anyways, in the majority of these cases, the father was usually never in the home at all, absent for the major proportion of the boy's life, or was present only on occasion. He came in and he was in and out. He showed up with a gift and then was gone again. Y'all know. The final prediction table was reduced to 3 factors instead of 5. Because of that, they use all these white people and the shit was just uneven and lopsided. It was reduced to just 3 factors. The 3 factors is the supervision of the boy by the mom, discipline of the boy by the mom, and family cohesiveness. The father was removed. The 2 father factors, X'd out. Get rid of them. Let me read that again. The final prediction table was reduced to 3 factors: supervision of boy by mother, discipline of boy by mother, and family cohesiveness within what family, in fact, existed, but was nonetheless 85% accurate in predicting delinquents and 96% accurate in predicting non-delinquents. By using the mother's factors, they were able to predict 85% of people who was going to be child delinquency, badass kids, baby kids. Baby kids was they were able to deduce baby kids based on the mothers. Researchers who have focused upon the good, quote unquote, boy in high delinquency neighborhoods noted that they typically come from exceptionally stable, intact families. Whenever there was a good boy, a good person, a good young man, it came from families where mom and dad was intact. Recent psychological research demonstrates the personality effects of being reared in a disorganized home without a father. One study showed that children from fatherless homes seek immediate gratification of their desires far more than children with fathers present. Others revealed that children who hunger for immediate gratification are more prone to delinquency, along with other less social behaviors. 2 psychologists, Pettigrew says, maintain that inability to delay gratification is a critical factor in immature, criminal, and neurotic behavior. The key takeaway from this is children who hunger for immediate gratification, instant gratification, turned out to be badasses. And finally, Pettigrew discussed the evidence from a stable home is a crucial factor in counteracting the effects of racism upon Negro personality, Black personalities. A warm and supportive home. Listen up, everybody. Listen up. A warm and supportive home can effectively compensate for many of the restrictions that the Black child faces outside of the ghetto. Consequently, the type of home a Black person enjoys as a child may be far more crucial for governing the influence of segregation upon his personality than form the segregation takes, legal or informal, Southern or Northern. A Yale University study of youth in the lowest socioeconomic class in New Haven in 1950, whose behavior was followed through their 18th year, revealed they paid attention to these kids all the way until they were 18 years old. Revealed that among the delinquents in the group, 38% of them came from broken homes, compared with 24% from non-delinquent families. The President's Task Force on Manpower Conservation in 1963 found that of young men rejected for the draft in the Army for failure to pass the mental test, they couldn't pass the test to get into the Army of 1963. All you had to do was add 1 + 1, do 3 push-ups, and be able to point a gun. But for the ones that failed the mental test, 42% of those with a court record came from broken homes, compared with 30% of those without a court record. Half of all the non-white rejectees in the study with a court record came from broken homes. Wow. An examination of the family background of 44,448 delinquency cases in Philadelphia between 1949 and 1954, just 5 years, documents the frequency of broken homes among delinquents. 62% of the Black delinquencies and 36% of white delinquents were not living with their parents. Damn, 62% of the badass kids in Philly in a period of 5 years came from a family where they weren't living with both their mama and daddy. In 1950, 33% of non-white children and 7% of white children in Philadelphia were living in homes without both parents. Repeaters were even more likely to be from broken homes than first offenders. Now let's talk about the military. The armed forces, ladies and gentlemen. The ultimate mark of inadequate preparation for life is the failure rate of the armed forces mental test. People just couldn't get into the Army in the 60s. God damn. The Armed Forces Qualification Test is not quite a mental test, nor yet an education test. It is a test of ability to perform at an acceptable level of competence. It roughly measures ability that ought to be found in average 7th or 8th graders. A grown young man who cannot pass the test is in trouble. The Army test of the 1960s is really a test for a 7th grader. If you a grown-ass adult and you couldn't pass, your ass is in trouble. 56% of Black people failed it. 56% of Black people who took the Army test failed a test that should have been passed by a damn 7th grader. This is a rate almost 4 times higher, 4 times worse than white people. The Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines conduct by far the largest and most important education and training activities of the federal government, as well as provide the largest single source of employment in the nation. Military service is disruptive in some respects for those comparatively few who are killed or wounded in combat, or otherwise the personal sacrifice is inestimable. It's like, so it's such a low number. But on balance, service in the armed forces over the past quarter century, 25 years, has worked greatly to the advantage of those involved. The training and experience of military duty itself is unique. The advantages that have generally followed in the form of the GI Bill, mortgage guarantees, federal life insurance, civil service preference, veteran hospitals, and veteran pensions are singular to say the least. Although service in the armed forces is at least nominally a duty of all male citizens coming of age, it is clear that the present system does not enable Black people to serve in anything like their proportionate numbers. This is not a question of discrimination. Induction into the United States Armed Forces is based on a variety of objective tests and standards, but these tests nonetheless have the effect of keeping the number of Black people disproportionately small. In 1963, the United States Commission on Civil Rights reported that a decade ago, that means in 1953, Black people constituted 8% of the United States Armed Forces. Today, they continue to constitute only 8% of the United States Armed Forces. In 1964, Blacks constituted 11.8% of the population, but probably remain at 8% of the armed forces. The significance of Black people underrepresentation in the armed forces is greater than might at first be supposed. If Black people were represented in the same proportions in the military as they are in the population, they would number 300,000 plus. This would be over 100,000 more Black people than there are at present, using the 1964 strength figures. If the more than 100 Black unemployed Black men were to have gone to the military, the Black male unemployment rate would have been only 7% in 1964 instead of 9.1%. Basically, these dudes couldn't even join the army. They weren't smart enough to even get in the army. Because if they were smart enough to pass this test, that would have been 100,000 plus more Black men with a job, which would have lowered the Black male unemployment rate from 9% plus down to 7%. But they couldn't even pass the fucking test. In 1963, the Civil Rights Commission commented on the occupational aspect of military service for Black people. Black enlisted men enjoy relatively better opportunities in the armed forces than in the civilian economy in every clerical, technical, and skilled field for which the data permit comparison. The Army is best for Black people, whether they know it or not, especially in 1965. There is, however, an even more important issue involved in military service for Black people. Service in the United States Armed Forces is the only experience open to the Black American in which he is truly treated as an equal. Only in the Army are you truly treated as an equal. And some people would even question that, especially in 1965. But as one man equal to any other man in a world where the category Black and white do not exist. If this is a statement, because everybody in the Army is green, right? That's what they're basically saying. Your battle buddy, you don't give a fuck if he Black, white, brown, red, yellow. If your ass is in the sticks, if you over in Somalia with me, we all trying to get home. We all green. If this is a statement of the ideal rather than the reality, it is an ideal that is close to realization. In food, dress, housing, pay, work, the Black person in the armed forces is equal and is treated that way. Everybody get the same amount of money. Everybody get the same amount of housing. Your barracks ain't no bigger than my barracks. You got to be in formation at the same time I got to be in formation. You dismissed as much as I'm dismissed. Your furlough is just as long as my furlough. Your pay is as much as my pay. You got to run the same amount of miles to pass the PT test as that I got to run. You got to do the same amount of push-ups and the same amount of sit-ups. There is another special quality about military service for black men. It is an utterly masculine world, the Army. The Army is utterly masculine world. Given the strains of the disorganized and matriarchal family in which many black youth come of age, men are grown up with mama. The armed forces are a dramatic and desperately needed change. A world away from women. A world run by strong men of unquestioned authority, where discipline, if harsh, is nonetheless orderly and predictable, and where rewards, if limited, are granted on the basis of performance. Basically, black families raised, it's a gynocracy, it's a matriarchal setup. Mama's in charge of everything. Mama do this. And by the way, mama takes care of the daughter more than she takes care of the son, even though the son probably needs it best to create a better family for himself. But he doesn't get that because mama don't give a shit about the boys. She only care about the daughters. And she damn sure don't care about her daddy. The daddy, his ass can't even come around because she's dissing him because he is a janitor and she works in the office. And so you got all these goddamn problems, right? But the boy that ran off to the army, he ran into an army of men. This is why we have the SR Army. I am a United States veteran, but I grew up with my father. But I understand the benefits of that. I am Sergeant Shannon Rawls of the United States Army. The boy that grew up in a matriarchal family where mama and big mama and all of them, and it's just women, and all the teachers is women. He ain't never had a male teacher, and everybody's women. The principal, women, and his auntie and mama and grandmama and women. When the boy went to the army and he got around men who held him to a higher standard, men who maybe sometimes the shit was harsh, but it was orderly nonetheless. He got his shit together. He be all that you can be. We do more before 8 a.m. than most people do all day. He got around the situation in a what the entire fuck? Yes, drill sergeant. Yes, drill sergeant. Let's continue. The theme of a current Army recruiting message states it as clearly as can be. In the United States Army, you get to know what it means to feel like a man. You know they can't do that shit today because women hated that. You know, oh, equality. Oh, you can't, know what do you mean? You know, they destroyed that message. But back in the day, right? In the United States Army, you get to know what it feels like to be a man. At the recent Civil Rights Commission hearings in Mississippi, a witness testified that his Army service was, in fact, the only time I ever felt like a man. Yet a majority of black youth, black youth, and probably 3/4 of Mississippi black people fail the selective service education test to get in the military and are rejected. 75% of black youth can't even get in the Army because of the shit they went through their childhood. And you guys want to perpetuate that in 2021? You don't want no man around? Saweetie says she wants a baby. You guys are singing fucking Sierra's prayer? Thank you, God, for the baby. Negro participation in the armed forces would be less than it is were it not for a proportionally large share of voluntary enlistments and reenlistments. Thus, 16.3% of Army sergeants are black. Alienation. Let's talk about the pathology of alienation. This should be interesting. Let's blow through this one pretty fast. The term alienation may by now have been used in too many ways to retain a clear meaning, but it will serve to sum up the equally numerous ways in which large number of black youth appear to be withdrawing from American society. One startling way in which this occurs is that the black men are just not there when the census enumerators come around. When the census is sent to your house, okay, did everybody do the census of 2020? Did you guys fill out the paperwork? I mean, it was mailed to everybody's house and they came knocking on your door. Don't front. Did you guys fill out the paperwork for the 2020 census so we can have some accurate fucking numbers? They sent the paperwork to your house. They kept sending it. They came to your house. If you didn't fill it out, hi, we're here to, we didn't get your paperwork. The fuck? How much money do you make? What are you? How tall are you? How much do you weigh? Are you overweight? Did you grow up with your family? Are you married? Do you have children? How many children do you have? Where's the dad? Do you work? How much money do you make? Do you own a car? Please answer these questions so we can get our fucking country under control. One startling way which this occurs is that black men are just not there when the census comes around on the 10s. 1950, 1960, 1970, 1980, 1990, 2000, 2010, 2020. We're not doing another census until 2030. Please fill out the fucking paperwork, people. According to the Bureau of Census Population Estimates for 1963, there are only 87 non-white males for every 100 females in the 30 to 34-year-old age range group. Wow. Wow. That's basically saying there's only a little over 8.5 to every 10 men for white women. There's only 87 white males for every 100 white women. The ratio does not exceed 90 to 100 throughout the 25 to 44 year age bracket. In the urban Northwest, there are only 76 males per 100 females 20 to 24 years of age. And males as a percent of females are below 90% throughout all ages after 14. There are not really fewer men than women in the 20 to 40 age bracket. What obviously is involved in an error in counting, the surveyors simply do not find the black man around. They trying to count him, but they can't find him. Them niggas is like, I ain't telling nobody nothing. They hiding out. Donald J. Bogue and his associates, who have studied the federal count of the black man, placed the error as high as damn near 20%. Fuck. At age 28. A typical error of around 15% is estimated from age 19 to 43. Preliminary research in the Bureau of the Census of 1960 enumeration has resulted in similar conclusions, although not necessarily the same estimates at the extent of the error. The black man can be found at age 17 and 18. On the basis of birth records and mortality records, the conclusion must be that he is still there at age 19 as well. When the enumerators or the census workers do find him, his answers to the standard questions asked in the monthly employment survey often result in counting him as not in the labor force. When the census worker does find the black guy, he ain't working. In other words, black male unemployment in truth may be somewhat greater than what we know. We got these numbers from the ones that we caught and found and was able to get a test from. That's how bad the numbers were. We don't even know about the rest of them. We can't catch them. We can't find them to even ask a question. The labor force participation rates of non-white men have been falling since the beginning of the century, and for the past decade have been lower than the rates for white men. In 1964, the participation rates were 78% for white and 75.8% for non-white. Among 1 percentage point of this difference was due to a higher proportion of non-white men unavailable to work because of long-term physical or mental illness. It seems reasonable to assume that the rest of the difference is due to discouragement about even finding a job. If non-white male labor force participation rates were as high as the white rates, there would have been 140,000 more non-white males in the labor force in 1964. If we do further assume that the 140,000 would have been unemployed, the unemployment rate for non-white men would have been 11.5% instead of the recorded 9%. I think he said 9.2 earlier, right? Damn. And the ratio between non-white rate and the white rate would have jumped from 2.1 to 2 to 1 to 2 to 4.1. Understated or not, the official unemployment rates for black people are almost unbelievable. The unemployment statistics for black teenagers, 29% in January 1965, reflect the lack of training and opportunity in the greatest measure. But it may not be doubted that they also reflect a certain failure of nerve. Are you looking for a job? Secretary of Labor Wirtz asked a young man on the Harlem street corner. The brother said, "Why?" was on the reply. He said, "Why? Why should I look for a job?" Richard A. Cloward and Robert Ontel have commented on the withdrawal in a discussion of the Mobilization for Youth project on the Lower East Side of New York. They just like, fuck it, man. Fuck society. I'm not voting. I ain't even tripping on no job, man. I'm just chilling, man. I ain't fuck all that. Why even look? Every time I apply, I get denied. They don't call me back. Man, I don't even care. What contemporary ghetto and minority youth probably lack that similar children in earlier periods possessed is not motivation, but some minimal sense of competence. They didn't think that they were smart enough to work. We are plagued in work with these youth by what appears to be a low tolerance for frustration. They are not able to absorb setbacks. Minor irritants and rebuffs are magnified out of all proportion to reality. If any little thing happens, niggas blow up. Any kind of setback, they just, fuck it. All right, man, I ain't even gonna try. Little setback. They blow it out of proportion. How many of you guys know somebody like that? Man, I don't even give a fuck about that. Well, how many times you try? I tried once, but that ain't for me. That's not for me. Perhaps they react as they do because they are not equal to the world that confronts them. This is the white man's world. So why even try? Perhaps they react as they do because they are not equal to the world that confronts them. And they know it. You over there, Lion's Time baby is over there laughing. Ignore my antics. And knowing that is devastating. Had the occupational structure remained intact, or had the education provided to keep pace with occupational changes, the situation would be a different one. But it is not, and that is what we and they have to contend with. Then there's narcotic drugs, sipping on Molly and all the shit the rappers talk about. Popping Molly and Percocet. Molly Percocet. Percocet. Molly Percocet. Represent. Gotta represent. That's the shit that you be singing. Why do I know the lyrics to that song? It was on radio rotation. We're constantly indoctrinated and programmed. Percocet. Molly Percocet. Drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol. That's what they teach us, right? That's who gets the record deal. The record deals and the guy that gets all the money, he's teaching everybody to take Percocets and pop Mollies. He's not saying go to school, get a job and go to school. Dick discipline. Have some dick discipline. Love your wife. Do good for your kids. Work hard. Be upstanding. Get a job. Get a job. No, that ain't the lyrics. The lyrics are Percocet. Molly Percocet. Narcotic addiction is a characteristic form of withdrawal. In 1963, Black people made up 54% of the drug addict population in the United States. I did not know that. I did not know that. I did not know that in 1963, Black people, who is only 10% of the population, was 54%, over half of the addicts in the United States. I did not fucking know that. Damn, that's disturbing. Anyways, let's continue. Although the Federal Bureau of Narcotics reports a decline in the Black population of new addicts, the Harry U reports the addiction rate in Central Harlem rose from 22.1 per 10,000 in 1955 to 40.1 in 1961. In just, in just 6 years, the shit doubled in Harlem. Drug addicts. There is a larger fact about the alienation of Black youth than that tangle of pathology described by these statistics. It is a fact particularly difficult to grasp by white people who have in recent years shown increasing awareness of Black problems. Really? I didn't know that. The present generation of Black youth growing up in the urban ghettos has probably less personal contact with white world than any generation in the history of Black Americans. Black people just they don't get out of. How many of you guys know niggas that's never even left the state? Some of y'all know some people that ain't left the city. I live in Los Angeles, sidebar. I live in Los Angeles. If I wanted to go to the beach, I will be there in about 16 minutes. If I grab my car keys right now and if I broke the law, I'd be there in 9. If I felt like speeding, I'd be to the beach in 9 minutes. 9 minutes. It is right now 11:52. I would be to the beach by noon, looking at the ocean. Looking at the ocean. I am in central Los Angeles right now, and I will be to the beach in 9 minutes, looking at the Pacific Ocean. I say that to say there's people in this neighborhood that's never stepped foot on sand. They have never stepped foot on sand. I got people in this neighborhood who's never been to the beach, and they born and raised here in Los Angeles. They are in a concrete jungle, and they won't go further than fucking Sepulveda Boulevard. They won't go further than Sepulveda Boulevard and won't go north of the 10 freeway. How many of you guys know somebody they do not travel? They are in the hood and they're there to stay. Don't even have a desire to experience nothing else outside of what they can see on TV or in today's times on their smartphone. The present generation of black youth growing up in urban ghettos has probably less personal contact with the white world than any generation in the history of the black American. Until World War II, it could be said that in general, the black and white worlds live, if not together, at least side by side. Certainly they did and do in the South. Since World War II, however, the two worlds have drawn physically apart. The symbol of this development was the construction in the 1940s and the 1950s of the vast white middle and lower middle class suburbs around all the nation's cities. Increasingly, the inner cities have been left to black people who now share almost no community life with white people. The white people went out, left the niggas in the middle of the city. In turn, because of this new housing pattern, most of which has been financially assisted by the federal government, redlining. It is probable that the American school system has become more rather than less segregated in the past 20 years. School integration has not occurred in the South, where a decade after Brown versus Board of Education, only one black kid in 9 is attending school with white children. And in the North, despite strenuous official efforts, neighborhoods and therefore schools are becoming more and more of one class and one color. I don't know what it's like in Chicago, but I hear about O Block. You know, I hear about South Side Chicago. Don't you like the South Side? Don't y'all kind of like diss the West Side or the North Side or something like that? If you from Chi-Town, you know, and if you from North Chi-Town or maybe East Chi-Town, you bougie or some shit. But if you from South Side Chicago, Chirac, if you from Chirac, and then you got 60th Street versus 59th Street and all that shit and O Block. I don't know. In New York City, in the school year of 1957 to 1958, just that one school year, there were 64 schools that were 90% more black or Puerto Rican. 6 years later, it was 134 of them. This is despite integration. It got worse. Along with the diminution of white middle class contacts for a large percent of black people, observers report that black churches have all but lost contact with men in northern cities as well. Whoa. Whoa. I didn't know that black men was falling out of church back in the 60s. I thought that was recent. This may be a normal condition of urban life, but it is probably a changed condition for the black American and cannot be a socially desirable development. The only religious movement that appears to have enlisted a considerable normal number of lower class black men in northern cities of late is that of the Muslims, the Nation of Islam, a movement based on total rejection of white society, even though it emulates whites more. In a word, the tangle of pathology is tightening. And that's it. I did not know, you guys, that black men was basically stopped not going to church in the 60s. I thought that was recent. I thought that was like 90s, 2000s. I didn't know the black men was like not fucking with church in the 60s, in the 50s. Did y'all know that? The only religious movement that appears to have enlisted considerable number of lower class black men was the Nation of Islam. Black men was like, man, I ain't fucking with that church. That pastor in there screwing all the women. In the 60s? Jeez Louise. That is wild. We did it, y'all. We did it. We did it. We only got one chapter left. Hey! Everybody throw your ones up. Mr. Donnie Mac. Mr. Donnie Mac shot us $5. I need the ones for that. You got to recognize the people that support this channel. Soldiers, please throw your ones up. It's the first emoji in your personal private emoji list. Donnie Mac says, just wanted to say thank you, man. Just wanted to say thank you for going through this with us. Harrowing and sobering how far back this goes. 56 years, Mr. Donnie Mac. Thank you. Everybody throw your ones up to Donnie Mac for that $5 blessing. He could have took that $5 and went and got him lunch. He could have put cheese on his burger. He could have blessed. He could have given it to a homeless man. He could have done anything with his $5. He put it over here. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. He says it is harrowing how far back this shit goes. It is. It is. I did not know that black men wasn't doing church in the 50s and 60s. We finished this up on Friday, you guys, and then I introduce you the new book that we're reading for the new year, for January. This is a book club. Rich people read. Rich people read. Rich people read. Don't sit there and claim to be or aspire to be rich and wealthy and you don't read. If it's difficult for you to do it on your own, we'll do it together. We will do it together. I can't wait to read chapter 5, the case for national action. Chapter 5 is the case for national action, and it's short. Chapter 5 is short. Chapter 5 is half the length of this. I think even less than that. It looks like it's only 1/3 the length. So we're going to read chapter 5 Friday morning at 9 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. After the workout, right? After our group workout that's going live too. We go live on our workout at 6 in the morning. We go live reading at 9 in the morning on Friday. Close that out. Shout out to you guys, man. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. You guys are holding me down. You're holding me up. I'm a small channel that just started this recently. I'm a little channel, you guys. There's people that's been on YouTube for years. So why you guys gravitate towards your boy Shan? Why you like listening at me? Why you pay attention to me? Why you support me financially? Like JT Coin Rings has done 3 times in this one show. No, he supported the workout. A couple hours ago, JT Coin Rings supported the workout. Now he's over here supporting the reading. He says, since the Black Power and Back to Africa movement. I didn't know that, JT. JT is basically telling me, you know, black men ain't been messing with the church since Black Power and the Back to Africa movement. We're gonna have to read a book on that, JT. We got to search it. We're gonna have to flesh out a book. That's gonna have to be one of our months. We gotta learn about that, man. We are educating over here. We gonna learn some shit. We done with ignorance, and we're finished with ignorance. No, fuck that. That's no longer an excuse. Shout out to my man JT Coin Rings. Everybody throw your ones up. Throw your ones up to JT. Ladies and gentlemen, why do I look exceptionally crystal clear today? I don't know why. Is it because of the upgrade to my internet? I have no idea. I appreciate everybody that's been here and is supporting my channel. I don't know why you guys support my particular channel, why people gravitate towards one content creator over another. But the overwhelming success that I'm having over here, I got 3,100 people that rock with me. I only had 300 3 months ago. And I don't even do the lives like I used to. Oh, don't get me wrong. You guys haven't seen High Value Shan. I haven't been doing a lot of those. You're going to get those every single day for 2022. I'm going live all the time. My growth has been meteoric. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Then you blessing me with money to help me keep going, to help me hire other people. I keep pointing at this chair. I wish I could. The camera's way. I want to turn the camera to show you this chair, because I'll be looking at it like this is where somebody's going to be sitting here doing research. You guys, you're purchasing the equipment, the computer, and the payroll for somebody to do the work, so we can provide you with more information. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much. I'm seeing so many new names that I have never seen before. Snuggles 668 is here. Thank you, Snuggles. Snuggles is a constant supporter. She supports everybody. I know, but she be over at Bernard Riley. You know, I'll be seeing you over at Bernard Riley. You be teasing Bernard. Play my song. You be at Bernard Riley. Snuggles 668 supports everybody, you guys. With money. She just be like, here, let me put that on you. Let me put that on you. Let me put that on you. Oh, what you got? Oh, you got a live? Let me put that on you. Oh, what you talking about? Snuggles be like, oh, what you talking about? Okay, let me put that on you too. Let me put that on you. Snuggles is over here today. Here, Shan, let me put this on you. She says, Shan, I want you to read Tax-Free Wealth also. And I'll also want you to read one of Dr. Sebi's books. If you want to hide something, put it in a book. If you want to hide something, put it in a book. She wants me to read one of, y'all know who Dr. Sebi is, right? Shout out to, and may he rest in peace, Dr. Sebi, who died in Honduras while in quote unquote prison. Holistic doctor. Shout out to Dr. Sebi. Thank you so much for your support. Everybody throw your ones up. The Snuggles 668. Everybody throw your ones up to Snuggles 668. And Miss Drea, right on back to back. Shan. We support you because of your intelligence, your fairness, your high value. Let me throw her up. Your willingness to give your time to educate and help your people. It's all love. Like, how do you say, like, what's an appropriate thank you for some amazing shit like that? Like, how do you, I mean, just thank you is not enough. Like how do you aptly say thank you to somebody like Miss Drea who puts 20 on it and says, Shan, I support you because you're smart, your willingness to help us out, you're fair, your high value content. Thank you, Miss Drea. I appreciate you. I don't know. I'm looking for a way to, like, do I dance? Should I get up and bust a move for you guys? Should I write a song and sing? I don't know. It needs to be comparable. Like my man RCC blessed a brother with $205 today, $300 on Monday. How do I say thank you to my guy? It feels weird to just say thanks, man, and then keep on moving. It's like I gotta do something. I know I give gift cards, but God, this should be something else, man. Thank you guys. I appreciate you so much. Thank you guys. I appreciate you so much. This is Rich People Read. This is Rich People Read. RCC says, man, just keep up the good work. He sound like me to the people that I'll be like, yo, man, you know, Shan, because the people that I've blessed over years, oh, man, Shan, you know, what can I do? No, just don't let me down. If I slide somebody some money or I bless somebody in some way, just don't let me down. Just keep up the good, right? Just keep up the good work. Don't let off the gas. It's weird to hear it from coming to me because I'm normally the giver. I'm normally the mentor. I'm normally the one pouring into somebody else. So when people pour into me, it's weird. But thank you guys. I will keep up the good work, RCC. Yes, sir. I challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. Sherry, she said, it's the additional sidebars for me. Challenge accepted, Sherry. You got it. I'll keep them up. Yes, this reading today should not have taken this long. How long have we been live? 3 hours and 22 minutes. We could have been done with this in 30 minutes. I'd just be talking. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. My name is Mr. Shannon Rawls. Thank you for reading along with us. You know, remember, the reading is the way to expand your mind and your bank account. Reading is the way to Snuggles! Snuggles says, what you need to do. So this is an inside joke. Snuggles hit us with another $5 chat. Everybody throw your ones up to Snuggles. Throw your ones up to Sherry. Throw your ones up to Miss Drea. Miss Drea, Sherry, and Snuggles. Snuggles says, Shan, what you need to do is have my $5 song ready for whenever I donate. Make sure you also have the signature teddy bear because there's more to come. There's an inside joke. You guys don't know it. You have to really follow maybe other channels, but for certain, Bernard Riley. She blesses Bernard. I'll be watching. See, I watch you guys, and I'm in the same spaces as you. I just be quiet. Sometimes I'll say, you know, throw your thumbs up, and sometimes I just be quiet. And Snuggles be over there. Bernard has a soundbite specifically for Snuggles. Bernard, that's my guy. I'll hit him we talk because I'm supposed to do a show with Bernard. And the ball is in my court because Bernard was like, Shan, you let me know. And I haven't told him, so it's really on me. I'm gonna hit him up and ask him for that soundbite. Tell him to send me the MP3. And I got a button right here for you, Snuggles. I got to get it from Bernard. Thank you again for everybody. Throw your ones up to Snuggles. Everybody throw your ones up to Snuggles. Thank you for your support, love. Thank you for your support to everybody, man. I appreciate you guys. We got a lot going on over here. We work out 6 days a week at 6 o'clock in the morning. We watch movies on Friday nights at 8 p.m. We read a book on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 9 a.m. Right? Then we also have our War Room lives. We also have High Value Shan lives. We also have the Raw Wisdom on Sundays at 12 p.m. Right? That nugget of, this is Mr. Shan giving you a nugget of raw wisdom to help you do better and be better. And then we also have Be a Better Man and Be a Better Woman series that's starting on the 1st of the year. We got a lot going on over here. We got Kimberly was like, Shan, you need to, don't spread yourself too thin. I suffer from PTSD from the military. So look, can we do a little transparency for those that's still here? I suffer from PTSD from my 2 deployments in the military. Not harmful. Not harmful. And talking is therapeutic for me. And talking to people who's listening really helps me. Yes, I'm successful in business. And yes, my inner circle is very helpful and my employees are helpful. I love them all. My family's helpful. But the fact that I can pass on information and I've been through a few things in life, the fact that I've gathered a couple nuggets of wisdom over my 49 years, and I don't want to be a gatekeeper. I want to pass on the information to help other people become better. I enjoy talking. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity and the space to be able to have a voice that may help you in some way, some form, some fashion. Thank you so much. Remember, you guys, reading is the way to expand your mind and your bank account. Tune in next time to Rich People Read. And you, my friends, are dismissed.
Yeah. Escucha. Miedo en tu habitación, solo los 2 segundos que hay que detener. Porque si no siento tu voz o tu olor, te extraño y te quiero ver. Quiero ver. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas, que me levantes la mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicada. Me haces falta, bebé. Dime qué tengo que hacer pa' tenerte de una vez, pa' no poderte perder. Dulce, eres mi bombón. Te quiero melocotón. Por ti corro un maratón. Solo de la dirección. Tú y yo, queriendo más amor. Pa' mí no es suficiente. Yo quiero tu calor. Tú y yo, con esa conexión. Somos lo que la gente no ha visto de los dos. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas, que me levantes la mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicar. Mira, somos perfectos, es algo indiscutible. Mi estilo y tu estilo no están disponibles. Solo soy sensible cuando te tengo porque eres irresistible. Tus labios combinan con tus ojos, porque eres tan pretty que hasta yo de eso me antojo. Chica, necesito mis anteojos. Quiero verte en noche hermosa de todos modos. Tú y yo, queriendo más amor. A mí no es suficiente. Yo quiero tu calor. Tú y yo, con esa conexión. Somos lo que la gente no ha visto de los dos. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas, que me levantes la mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicar. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tal indicada.